Let me see, can I see myself? I decided to turn it on just a few minutes early so I could set some things up because I'm going to actually show my face today without makeup and all that. Yeah, let me answer my hairdresser right quick. Yeah. Here we go for you. Okay, there. All right, let me put this back. Ooh, I'm so sick of cold. Let me fix this over here. Get a little music going behind us in case we decide to play something. I just want to turn it on early so I can figure some things out. Let me see if this is going to play or not. Is it going to play? Oh, I don't hear. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. I think you can. I'll turn it up a little bit while we wait. That's strange. Let's see. Is it not playing? He does it all from the streets to the screen. He's got that glow. Welcome to the ride. It's Lil Ritto. Red line dreams, we don't slow down. There, let me turn this off. I'm just trying to set something up. I thought he'd come on early because I'm going live today without full makeup and all that mess. Let me turn off this music. It's a little too loud. Hang on. We'll just talk for a little bit. It's fine. No problem. All right, there we go. Can you hear me okay, Trishy? Because I'm using my my earbuds, and I don't know if you can hear okay or not. Let me know. Because what I hear and what you hear may be two different things. And yes, I'm in the nude. I don't have on makeup and all that stuff. I'm just my skin is so dry from the heater running. It's terrible. Hey there, girl. You're at work? Okay, that's fine. I'm running onto the tread. You know what? I want to use my treadmill so bad. But because I've had this injury to my leg and I had finally got my MRI done, I'm just waiting to hear from the orthopedic about maybe having surgery on it. I don't know what they're going to do about it. But so I have to stay off the treadmill until we decide, do I need surgery or do I not need surgery? And it's killing me because y'all know I work out about 45 minutes every day. It's just something I love to do, and I'm not feeling real good about myself right now. So anyway, but I've been kind of looking around, and I was thinking to myself, what would I like to talk about that nobody's talking about? And today it's going to be Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the corporate fraud. Now here's the question I have for everybody. She came out and told the truth that she knew she could walk, right? We all know she did that. Okay, so the question is, why are these corporations not coming back and going after her for the fraud? Are they embarrassed? Is there a statute of limitations? Or is it, we can't really talk about that, because if we talk about that, then we admit that we were wrong and that we did not investigate properly. Because we're not talking about one place, we're talking about many places, many times. And in fact, the very first thing that I remember talking about when they dropped all these FOIAs, as far as this goes, was the Olay Foundation. I talked about that first. And what it was is, she was supposed to go to this convention in New York from the Olay Foundation in June. Okay, thank you, Tricia. I'll be happy to. I'll just give you all that I know. She was supposed to go in June. Well, she didn't want to go because one of the things that was going to happen when she was at this convention was they had a special doctor there who was going to take a look at her and help with her diagnosis. She knew right then and there that she could not see that doctor, because if she saw that doctor, he would know she's been lying all this time. That's right. So I think that had something to do with when they chose to take her mother's life too, because she knew absolutely she couldn't pull it off again. She couldn't. We're talking about this. She knew from the time that she was 6 years old that she could actually walk. Remember, she tells us this. I mean, she admitted to that in her own book and in the FOIAs that we saw that were dropped. So the thing about Dee Dee is, yes, Dee Dee also, she somewhat participated, but she participated in it kind of blindly because Gypsy had told her she could not walk. So she would take her to all these doctors to try to figure out what's wrong with her. Now, listen, her chromosome deletion is real. That really is wrong with her. That's always been really wrong with her. And as a child, as she was growing up, it really did cause havoc on her body. It wasn't, her teeth were not rotted out by something her mother did. Her teeth were rotted out by, number one, the issue she had with that, and number two, her poor hygiene. Okay? So that's what happened to her teeth. And, I mean, who in their right mind is still sucking a bottle at the age of almost 20? Remember, she told Nick that she was sucking this bottle. You know, I'm like, see, here's the thing about this, and I don't think anybody's put this together yet as far as Gypsy's concerned. Gypsy, when she went on to this dating website, we all know she was actually 18. But Nick thought that she was actually not 18 yet, but fixing to be 18. Because even though he was 26 when they got arrested, and they'd been in this relationship for what, 3 years? I think it was 3 years exactly, or almost 3 years, something like that. She talks about in one of her videos, just feeling so different. Maybe it's because I turned 18. So he actually thought that she was much younger than she was. Even though we know the rules say that you had to be 18 to join this website, she went in there, and it's easy to do. You can put any, if you know how to figure it out, you can put any birth date, etc., and you can get yourself into one of these websites. They're not asking you to send in a birth certificate. They're not asking you to send in any proof. You just put in a date, and then you're going on and making this video. It was a Christian dating site. What is this? Okay. Oh, okay. Let me answer my hairdresser here because he's been trying to get a hold of me. Sure. There we go. There. Anyway, so Gypsy. Even the Blanchards have been caught lying about this, because the Blanchards have also admitted, oh yeah, they knew she could walk. The Petries knew she could walk. Everybody knew she could walk. So as far as getting this, they scammed Habitat for Humanity. They scammed the Special Olympics. They scammed the Olay Foundation. They scammed Disney. They scammed Ronald McDonald. I mean, the list goes on. And I just cannot figure out why in the world these corporations are not taking a look at this, realizing that she's now told the truth and that, by God, they were tricked. I don't understand that, because myself, I mean, if this was my corporation, of course it's not, I would absolutely admit that I was tricked by her and her mother, and I would absolutely go after her, because I would prove a point with this. Because if you get away with this, the thing is, other people will try it too. And what she did by taking things away from children who truly deserved it in the Make-A-Wish Foundation, there are children who never got their wish, and now they've passed away, and she took their spot, knowing she didn't deserve it, and knowing there was nothing wrong with her. But you know what she feels? Zero. She has zero self-awareness. Isn't it? It is criminal. It's absolutely criminal, 100%. But I guess because it happened so long ago, I'm thinking there may be a statute of limitations on all this, because nobody knew that she was actually lying about this until I think her book was released and the FOIAs came out. The book was released first, and then the FOIAs come out, and there's actually on video she says, yeah, I knew I could walk since I was 6 years old. I mean, it is extremely shocking. It is shocking. But she acts like, now her new grift, here's Gypsy Rose's new grift. Well, I'm a Christian. Okay, so now she's coming out with Christian. Okay, well, I understand that if we ask for forgiveness, we get forgiveness, all that kind of stuff. However, the number one sin of killing, I think how do you get forgiven for that? That's what I want to know. How do you get forgiven for that? That's horrible. And your own mother. And because there's another part to this that people have not really thought about. I don't know if you've watched much about it, but there's another video that's been played in the FOIAs where she says, well, my mom was really, really sick, and if I would have stayed here and taken care of her, it might have been 20 years before I could go out and have a real life. That tells me that she absolutely did not want to take care of her mother like her mother took care of her, so she just took her out. She just took her out because she didn't want to take care of her. And I know her mother was extremely overweight. She's diabetic, and she did not take care of her illness. She just didn't, because she was so busy taking care of Gypsy's bullshit. That's the honest truth about it. So we could all write letters to all these foundations to ask them why they've done nothing about it. I doubt that they would answer us. And I wish they would answer us, but I doubt that they would. Hurricane Hunter and Into the Weeds, Becca Scoops, Pink Chihuahua, and the list goes on with these other creators who've talked about all of these things to try to get this out into the mainstream. Because I'm sorry, I said a bad word, sorry. The thing about this was, it was her own, yes, Trish, it was her biological mother that she took her life. Yeah. Claiming she had Munchausen, but she didn't. Nobody ever diagnosed her with Munchausen. You can't diagnose a person who's passed away with anything. But Gypsy, one thing that happened in this case that is horrible, absolutely horrible, is the fact that as soon as Gypsy decided she would accept a plea offer, they stopped investigating it, period. They just stopped right then. And then they started concentrating on Nick. Now, Nick did not know enough about this to actually be able to tell them that Gypsy was lying about this, that, and the other, because Nick believed everything Gypsy said. Now, but you're also talking about a person. Nick Godejohn had the mind of a 15-year-old. He was just stuck in that teenage, and he believed everything that she said, every single thing. So it just really, the whole thing messed him up. Now, so he's over there not thinking straight, because he cannot think straight, because again, he has the mind of a 15-year-old. She did get jail time. She got 10 years in jail. But after 8.5 years, they let her out on parole, right? But because she accepted this plea, she accepted a 10-year plea for second-degree murder. Yeah, it might not be worth the headache and the dollars for the companies to pursue her, but at least come out and admit it. But I realized if they admit it, then they're admitting that they've been scammed and they didn't do their homework. They didn't, do their due diligence to find out if there was anything wrong with her or not. Now, they did get kicked out of the Ronald McDonald House when they figured out, she wasn't really seeing a doctor. They were just using that Ronald McDonald House to stay there. It's just god-awful, all the things that happened in this case and how it is now, and the fact that Nick is still sitting over there in prison. He's got one last attempt here to get resentenced. And I hope he is resentenced. Now, I don't think he needs to go free. No, because the one thing about these FOIAs, it's bad publicity, perhaps, explained to the general public, maybe. Yeah, I think you might be right, Trishy. That absolutely could be it. And it is bad publicity to know that you were scammed like that. But part of the thing that happened over here was it wasn't even Dee Dee filling out the applications. It was Gypsy filling out the applications, 100%. When she got old enough to do it herself, she started filling them out. And because she knew that she could lie about her age, and she had all this other information over there, she just started filling it out and getting all this stuff for free all the time. In fact, the December before she took her mother's life in June, that is exactly when they were in Disney, and she's sitting there eating those mashed potatoes, going, royal mashed potatoes, like she's a 12 or 13-year-old person. Yeah. She was actually almost 24. Almost 24. So I think that I will never believe that her mother shaved her head and all these other things because she wanted her to look sick. I think that Gypsy participated in all that so that she stayed looking like this 12, 13-year-old kid that was really super sick, so she could keep getting all these free things. One of the other things that has happened since she's gotten out of prison is people have realized that she has no real world. She really wasn't taught real world. She really grew up believing, and it is Dee Dee's fault, sort of. I'm going to say this is kind of Dee Dee's fault right here. She grew up believing that everybody's a princess, and that you don't have to work for anything, and that everybody just gives you whatever you want, because if you look sick, then they'll feel sorry for you, and you can just get whatever you want. See, they just give it to you. Right. She kind of grew up like that, and I just blame Dee Dee for that because she did not teach her real world. We know that Nick and Gypsy, when they're making these little videos. I don't know if you've seen any. We can play, Tricia, if you've not seen any, we'll play some of them because it is fascinating to watch this happen. But Nick and Gypsy both portrayed several different personalities. And what people don't really understand about this is those personalities that they were portraying is actually who they are. What you see today is not Gypsy mimicking other people, because the one thing we know about psychopaths is the fact that they know how to mimic other people. Yeah, you know a woman who pretended to be sick on social media way back like 12 years ago. I couldn't believe it when I found out there was a scam artist like that. Yeah, Trishy, it's terrible, isn't it? It is terrible. But those personalities that they were showing us are the real Gypsy and the real Nick. They are very mentally disturbed. And like I said, we know that sociopaths learn how to mimic the behaviors of other people in the real world because they know that that's socially acceptable and that they'll be able to stay in that little social circle as long as they're able to mimic that. But the real people are what you saw, or what we've seen in those videos. We can show some of them if you want to, because I mean it's absolutely shocking to me that she was able to do this for so long. Even when she was getting arrested, she sat there and told the cop that she was only 19 years old and that she could not go to jail because she had all kinds of medical problems, knowing that she was completely healthy and there was not a damn thing wrong with her. She knew that, but it's the game she's played all those years. She played it on them too. She played it on them. But poor Nick. Now, the thing with Nick was not, I don't know why. I think Nick had poor representation. I will always say that Nick did not have a good attorney, because a good attorney would have realized that Nick was not able to make decisions for himself as far as accepting a plea or not accepting a plea. I think had he had decent representation, he would have worked out a plea agreement too. They offered him several plea agreements, but he wanted to walk out of there and not do any jail time. And he really thought in his sick mind, that he could pull the I have autism strings, and that would allow him to just walk out with no jail time, because see, he's not really capable of making the right decisions. That is the game he tried to play. So you're talking about two sociopaths that basically, when you put them together, you had fire and gasoline going together, period. Now, I know that Hurricane Hunter has written letter after letter after letter to these corporations, and they refuse to answer. And that tells me that that kind of tells me that they don't want to open that Pandora's box, because it would open a Pandora's box. But see, I think those corporations have some responsibility in this, because had they done their due diligence, they may have realized that the person that they were seeing portrayed to them begging for their help, or applying for these different awards or these different economic help. They would have realized something wasn't right. They would have realized that something was not right about this, and maybe they would have been able to shut it down back then. Had these corporations taken responsibility and looked at her way back when, we would not have the monster that we have today. That is how I kind of feel about it. I think there's many different people that are basically responsible for this gyp shit that's out here in the world today. And let me tell you something, her being free scares the hell out of me. I'll tell you, she scares me because I know that sick, demented mind that she's walking around with. Oh yeah. Listen, all it takes is for her to get pissed off about something, and guess what? When you tell her no, this is when she's going to take somebody else's life. Because the one thing we know about people in history, it always repeats itself. It does. It's just like clockwork. It's going to repeat itself. So that's just that's part of the presentation I wanted to talk about tonight, is how does corporate America allow themselves to be scammed by Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Dee Dee and the Blanchard family. Because this includes Melissa Moore. This includes so many different people that were involved in that life. She will tell you herself her book is not really real. It's not true. Because when you look at the FOIAs and you see and she talks about all these different things that she knew was not true, but it's also in this book. It's in the book. She did not even read the book before it was printed. She didn't bother with it. Oh, well, it's fine, whatever. They really need to go back and she says they're going to rewrite the book. Why? Why would you rewrite? Yeah, the best predictor of a future behavior is a past behavior. Thank you, Trishy. That is exactly right. And exactly right. Yeah, look at the serial killers. Look at these people. Look how many times they repeated those same behaviors. And it started when they were young. Any one of these people started out when they were very young. They were doing things already that was not socially acceptable. They were already beginning to have that sick thought process because they were basically mentally ill and nobody noticed it, right? They just didn't notice it. They will tell you, when you look at predators, they will tell you most of those predators started out with the same situations when they were young. So, let me put my little glasses on here. Are these the ones? No, these are the wrong ones. I got so much stuff over here. Look what I found. This is such a cool thing. My big fat pencil. So, I was going to grade a paper beamer with my big fat pencil. It really writes. It's kind of cool, right? So Gypsy gets a big old F. Anyway, let's read about this for a second. My family, so my son came home from college this weekend, and him and his dad went to a hockey game, and I think that's great. I'm glad they did. They can go have a little bit of fun together. But I want to pull this up over here. Let me find it real quick. Y'all know I'm never 100% prepared. I just don't have the hang of it like some of my friends do about being real professional at doing this. But okay, predictors. I'm looking for predictors of predators. That would be cool if you were a teacher with a huge, I always thought it would be fun to be a teacher, but I'm like, I don't know that I could take it real serious because when I get around the kids, I just want to have fun, I just want to have a good time. I don't really want to do anything serious. Oh, come on now. I'm looking for predators and predictors. Okay. Where is my little thing? Here we go. Oh, I hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. It finally warmed up. All the ice is finally melted. It's just bitch cold over here right now. I can't stand it. I hate the cold. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hang in there with me, guys. Hang in with me. Ooh, here we go. Predators. Okay. So we know that predators really target children, but predators also target adults. And we know this, And it's usually, they identify their target as being vulnerable, people with low self-esteem, people that have social struggles, or people that have a need for attention. And that's when the grooming starts. Just like Gypsy Rose Blanchard groomed Nick. She knew that Nick suffered from the following. He had low self-esteem, he had social struggles, he had a need for attention, all of those things. She knew she could groom him. So she did. There's the first of it is always, groomers. She started out by grooming him with building a trust between him and her. That was the first thing. She just acted as if it was too good to be true, that they were going to be best friends, and that she loved him, and that they were going to have the best life ever, and she couldn't wait. She couldn't wait to be with him. She couldn't wait to get married to him. She was already looking at wedding dresses and all these other things. And he was very excited about this because he had little girlfriends when he was in high school, but he was no longer in high school. So he's over here living in his mother's home at the age of 26 years old. When he met Gypsy, he was almost 24 himself. So he's living in his mother's home. He had graduated high school, but he had no job. And he was getting a check from the government. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard is over here She started grooming him like that. She could not isolate him, of course, because, he was in another state. But she normalized things. She started introducing him to inappropriate topics and materials. Like, she's the one that introduced him to BDSM and those kind of things. So she started normalizing weird behaviors, and and it was things that she knew he was interested in, such as the vampires, the dark side, the scary man in the dark type of thing. She did that. And she did all of this online. Because you can remember, they met one time at the movie theater and where she had sex with him in the boys' bathroom. Then tried to claim she was pregnant. Of course, she was not. Because even he will tell you, well, I don't think anything really happened. It was really fast and we were in the boys' bathroom and I don't know, I had a hard time. I don't think anything really happened. But she tried to claim she was pregnant. Which is, okay. Female predators like her always do the pregnancy thing. Look at Letitia Stouch, the same thing. Okay? I'm going to use her as an example on that. They start using fake conversations and just fake and using sex. They use sex. In adult grooming, they always use sex. Okay? They use, oh, you're special, you're this, you're that. We've seen that happen. Okay? That's Chad and Lori Daybell right there. It's the same thing. Chad and Lori, it's the same thing right there. The vulnerable factors, they look for the person being groomed doesn't realize it. They're excited because they're finally getting validated. They're finally getting looked at as if they're a real person. They're finally getting the attention that they have been starving for. They're finally being taken serious. They finally have somebody that's listening to everything they say and just, holding on to it. And they feel good about themselves. They're like, oh, okay. Look, she really does love me. I am smart. I do know what I'm talking about. Listen, she's doing everything I asked her to. She's helping me. We're a team. That kind of thing. There's a lack of supervision that happens too. And I know you're going, well, they're adults. What do you mean supervision? Well, when you have two people that are basically social misfits, I'm going to use the word social misfits because I think that's what fits them both. Because I don't want to use ugly words. We know they're both psychopaths now. But at the time when they first met each other, it was, I'm a sick person over here, and I'm being held captive in this house, and I'm over here, and Nick is over here. I'm lonely. I'm looking for a partner. I need a partner who can do the things I want to do. And then she's over there, oh, honey, and there it is. It's just this constant. And when you listen to those FOIA videos and how much they play into each other's fantasies, because the whole thing was like some weird fantasy that they were having between each other, except Nick thought it was real. That's the problem here. Because Nick was a low, what's the word I want to use? Just a low, mentally, at 15 years old, he could not distinguish with his mental problems and his delayed mental development. He could not distinguish what was real versus what was just a fantasy. Okay, so he thought that everything they were doing was real. Now, there were so many red flags that nobody paid attention to because nobody paid attention to what they were doing. Gypsy's mother knew about Nick. She cannot continue to lie and say that she was hiding something. Because she may have been hiding the videos that she was making, showing her body, doing all kinds of sexual things on these videos that she's sending to Nick. But her mother knew that she was talking to Nick. Her mother knew about Nick. Now, where the problem with Nick came with her mother was the fact that Gypsy says, oh, Mom, hey, Nick and I want to get married, and he's going to move down here, and he's going to need to come and live with us because we need a chance to get started. Her mother was like, absolutely not. You're not moving Nick in here with me. I'm not providing you a car. I'm not helping you get a place to live, and those kind of things, right? So that is when she started really becoming upset with her mother. And that is the point when when all of a sudden Dee Dee decided Nick was not the right person for Gypsy. But she was right about that. because the thing that gypsies failed to realize in her fairy tale land that she grew up in was she could not write some corporation and get some free money or get some free trip or be treated like a queen anymore for them to help her and Nick have a house and go on vacations and all these other kind of things. All of that was over. And so when you listen to Gypsy talk about these trips and things that they went on and how all this special treatment that she has, she actually told Nick in not so many words that they were going to be able to continue to do these kind of things. And he was very excited because he had never done anything like that, right? So, I mean, it's just this whole, I don't understand how it got that far. I don't understand how nobody seemed to pick up on the fact that there was nothing wrong with her. I don't understand until she gets into prison. And then all of a sudden they realize there ain't nothing wrong with this girl. What the hell? What's been going on all these years? How did she do this? How did she do this? So, I'm gonna just blame it on them. I'm gonna blame it a little bit on Dee Dee, but I'm gonna give it like this. 25% is Dee Dee. That's right. 35% of it's probably the corporations who were involved in giving her all these things without doing any due diligence about it. And then the rest is on her. When you are 18 years old and you know that you can walk and you know that you are pretending to be 15 or 14 years old and pretending to be in a wheelchair and pretending to be sick, but you know you're not sick and you're the one filling out the documents and sending it off to all these corporations to get all these different things. See, Gypsy acts like she said, oh, I was homeschooled, or I only went to second grade, or, things like that. Yeah, she was homeschooled. Yes, she was. She was not lacking education. Here's the problem, though. The reason why she could not go to public school is because they would have known how old she really was. So her blaming her mother for not going to public school is ridiculous. This is part of Gypsy's own. Gypsy controlled the wheelchair situation 100%. So her not going to public school is her own fault. It's not her mother's fault. It's her fault. There's so many things that she had done. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Now, let me go back and let me pull this back up. We're going to talk about the Olay Foundation because the Olay Foundation is the last place that she was going to go to and be represented by them as being an award, getting some award or something. So let's look at the Olay Foundation, figure out exactly what do they do. All right, here we go. Because she had already been to this Olay Foundation and won something from them before. They had been supporting her for a long time, which is so weird, Let me get this Olay. Oop, I gotta spell it right. Oh my goodness, come on. Okay, the Olay Foundation, and they have a donation formulas, etc. Now, it's OLEY Foundation operates a free nationwide internal donation program connecting individuals with tube feedings, which she did not need that feeding tube, right? So they help these people, they supply them with formula and supplies to those needing it. Participants can donate or request items via their website, generally covering for shipping costs. How to donate. So it gives you a list of how to donate to this. Now, the Olay Foundation also accepts financial donations to keep their programs free. But let me get over here to their foundation, when they have their convention, the Olay convention, where people learn new information about feeding tubes, etc. Because this is where Gypsy did not want to go in June, and this is when she took her mother's life. Okay? Okay, it's going to be the convention. It's a convention that they have. And they invite all kinds of doctors and sick people and makers of all these different pieces of equipment. Okay, convention. Let me pull up the convention. Okay, all right. This was from the 2025 Olay Convention. Primed and ready to grow. It was going to be June 17th through the 20th in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, come on, get where I can see you. Ooh, no, accept. Okay, so This is their little advertisement. It says, "Are you primed and ready to grow?" Scroll down to secure your spot. Join us for the OLA conference in 2025, primed and ready to grow, in a beautiful Charleston, South Carolina event center. Come on, don't do that. Wish we would stop doing that. Connect with supportive communities, learn from experts, fun for the whole family, and empower yourself. So this is where they have this whole list of all the things they do, and and her mother. Okay, in the 2015 Olay Foundation convention that they were going to go to, her mother had already secured her spot and appointment with a specialist that was going to look at her to see what more they could do for her. And she knew that. She absolutely knew that. In fact, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and let's go find her FOIA where she talks about the Olay Foundation. Hang on a second, guys. We'll go find that. We'll just talk a minute while we do that. So here we go. Let's go to YouTube and see if I can find that real quick. Oh, come on. Okay. Let me see. It's Gypsy and the Olay Foundation. Let's see. Here we go. Hang on. It's just picking up everything that it's hearing, right? Okay, come on. What in the world? Come on, what are you doing? No, it's not cops discover anything in the living room. What the hell? Go home. Thank you. Okay, Gypsy and the Olay Foundation. Oh boy. Okay. This right here is going to be from, let's see, Parenting with Patience. Let's see, the Feeding Tube Workshop. Okay, this was from 6 years ago. And this is Gypsy Rose receiving an award at the Olay Foundation. Here, listen. And she sings this crazy little song, y'all. Let me... Do you realize how old she was? Look at her. Do you realize how old she really was when this was going on? Look at her. You can totally tell she was not 12 or 13 years old. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous. That I'll never understand. How come they could not look at her and see that they were being conned? I will never understand that. Okay, let me go down here. I'm trying to look for some more of these when she got Make-A-Wish. Let me see if I can find the one for Make-A-Wish Foundation. Hang on. The thing that's the worst is the Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity should have never given them a house, ever. Makes me sick that happened. I'm looking for Gypsy and the Disney. Look at Disney gifts. Because she got all kinds of gifts when she went to Disney. Here we go. I finally have my glass slipper, limited edition. Oh, that's not her. I'm looking for Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let me put Gypsy Rose here. I'm gonna have to put it like this because it's like, well, there's a lot of people that get gifts from Disney. What are you talking about? All right. Let's see if we can find this. But this is crazy. This is going to be from 1980. Listen to this. She wanted to get a job at Disney. Hang on a second, guys. She is a predator herself. In case you don't know that, she is a predator.
What do you think about the new FOIA and the videos coming out?
Well, I hope they all come out soon.
This is from 1980 Millennial.
You're hoping for them to come out?
Yeah, I want all of them to come out.
Gypsy's not worried?
No, not at all. You know, okay. I think that it's important for everyone to see everything.
Is it?
Making content.
I don't think so.
She never wore a wig with me. She never had to. She always had a real hair with me. So just say it. Never once did she wear a wig with me in any character, anything. Did you think I liked hearing that shit in a couple of videos? No, I didn't.
Right. Well, she did it.
Like, it wasn't a turn on, guys. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Hey friends, like I said the other day, I have finally gotten a new computer and I am able to search the email document again. And I started going through looking for Disney because I remembered seeing some emails where Gypsy said from prison that her dream job when she got out would be to work as a character at Disney. So I pulled some screenshots for us to go over, friends. Let's get into it. Real quick, my usual disclaimer, these prison emails were obtained through the Freedom of Information Act and the Missouri Sunshine Law. All prisoner communications are subject to the Freedom of Information Act requests. Okay, this email is outbound from Gypsy. I didn't screenshot the date and timestamp on all of them, but I did on some where it seemed kind of important to note in the timeline. So this one was sent outbound from Gypsy on February 28th, 2021. Before we jump into the emails, I wanted to go over Gypsy and Ryan's timeline real quick. And thanks to little Frodo over on the GRB Snark Backup and GRB Evidence Reddits, we have an easy timeline right here, friends. Some of these emails appear to be from Ryan and Jeff. And also it's important to note that Gypsy and Ryan got married in 2022 because some of them are post 2022. And Gypsy and Ryan met July 2021. So Ryan, in one of his recent interviews, made a big deal about how, they had a little relationship before they actually met, whatever. But once they actually met, that's when Gypsy knew she actually wanted to be with him. That's when everything really started. Let's go ahead and get into the emails, friends. Okay, so this first one is February 18th, 2021. This is February 2021, and that's right around the time that Gypsy and Ryan started talking, but she was talking to a lot of other guys during this time. I can't remember.
Hang on a second, guys. I want to see if I can find the one where she got these. Oh, here we go. This is it. This is the one right here. And this is going to be from Morgan and Lena, and it's Gypsy Rose downplays charity and scams and free Disney trips. What do you mean? You knew you were doing this, you piece of shit. She makes me so mad with this mess.
Do that of the kindness of their hearts.
No, they didn't. You bet.
The kindness of their hearts is amazing.
Jet sets across the country, ball games, galas, the most magical place on earth, Disney World.
Make-A-Wish, we're taking her down to Orlando, all census paid and everything.
Right now, I'm in Cinderella Castle eating some royal mashed potatoes.
He even got to meet country superstars Miranda Lambert and then husband Blake Shelton.
Miranda Lambert came to Springfield a few times.
Look at this $3,500 check from the singer's personal account. But that wasn't all.
There we go.
Her out posing with her favorite actors, Elijah Wood and Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings.
Everything people thought they knew about Gypsy and Dee Dee may have been a lie.
She knew how old she was.
Bring me down. I'm on a high right now.
No, you're not.
I'm living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
Look at her. No shame, no awareness.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Gypsy Rose surprised everybody by releasing photos and videos of some new information, trying to reiterate the fact that Rod paid for those Disney trips and her mom was paying bills with Rod's money, all this stuff, instead of it just being Dee Dee literally scamming multiple different charities and then also scamming multiple different people. I don't know what kind of message they are trying to get out in regards to releasing this information, but we've got a couple of things to go over regarding the Disney trips, Rod's child support, and I want to get into all of it with you guys, but before we do, make sure you like and hit the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with everything I've got coming out on my channel. I appreciate all of you guys, but let's go ahead and dive into what Gypsy's been saying lately and get into this whole child support stuff and see if we can dig a little bit more information up.
Okay. I'm gonna go past that right there. Let's see what we get where she's actually
of taking things that didn't belong to them, stealing from stores and various places. We're gonna get into all of that, but let's go ahead and watch Gypsy's.
This is true. Now, all joking aside, this is true. Gypsy was stealing from a very early age. She sits there and says, well, my mother taught me to do that. Bullshit. You started stealing on your own because nobody checked your wheelchair and you knew it. Let's go ahead and listen to this. I really like Morgan and Lena, and I just want to thank Into the Weeds, Hurricane Hunter, Becca Scoops, Morgan and Lena, and every one of these ladies and gentlemen who have brought us the truth about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the scamming bitch.
Video about what she has to say about this, for whatever reason,
I just can't
being out of prison for 2 years, she is just now getting into all of the things that she has from her mother's house, all of the records and things like that. She gave them to her friend Bree. I guess this is really the first time that she's decided to do this, but whatever.
It's charity. It just
like
happens.
she used everybody else.
It was most of the first half of Gypsy's life. There was no charities really. Like she was like in a little Special Olympics. Like when did you go on your first trip to Disney? I think you were. Was you 12?
I was 10.
10.
The Make-A-Wish trip that everybody's like, you stole a wish from a kid. You were an adult. I was 10 years old.
Were you? Are you sure?
But Gypsy did that, you know. And didn't you donate to Make-A-Wish? Was that the one you donated?
I did. I donated a little over 4,000, which is
did you
exactly
feel
what
bad?
it takes. That's exactly how much a Disney trip is, including the Disney dining plan.
That is a lie. I'm going to tell you what it costs to really go to Disney for 3 people, okay, without any special treats, like going to meet the characters or having dinner with some of the special characters and all those other little things. We spent about $15,000 for 3 people. Yes, that's how much it costs to really go to Disney for a week and stay in the park. Here we go. So your little $4,000 you donated is nothing.
If anybody's ever been to Disney, you know what the Disney dining plan is. So that's enough to cover a wish to go to Disney. And that's why I donated that much, to give that wish back. Even though technically I was a child and that wasn't my fault. And now there were other wish granting. There was like 3 more wish granting organizations that she scammed too, all while I was still under the age of 18.
No, it's not Make-A-Wish though. There's a lot of people think that she got multiple wishes from the same. It's
you cannot get more than one wish from one organization.
I had a dog one time that I bought from a breeder. This is what, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I had a dog, a Chinese crested, that I bought from a breeder. And when I bought this dog, she was retiring her from showing, is what she told me. I got the dog home, and I could notice that she just was weird. Something was weird about her. I started feeling her tummy, and I was like, oh my God, I think she's eating rocks. I think she's the pica dog. So I took this dog to the vet, and sure enough, there was 5 babies in there. This dog was pregnant. So what I decided to do was I took these puppies, and I gave one to Make-A-Wish. I gave these puppies to people who, for whatever their reason was, I would talk to them first and find out why did they want this puppy, and did they have a puppy that something else happened to, just to make somebody happy. I did not make a damn dime. I was not selling these puppies. I paid to have that dog delivered to the little girl in Oklahoma who later died. But anyway, I had that dog delivered to her in Oklahoma. So that is what Make-A-Wish is really all about, not this piece of shit right here.
The rest, when I was 20, the year before the crime happened, my mother paid for that trip. Now, granted, that was money that my dad was giving my mom for child support.
No, she did not.
But she paid for that trip.
Right, because most of the money that your mom, from what I've looked into, any kind of like GoFundMes and stuff, you know what it was for? It was for them to afford to be able to go to medical conferences.
Yes.
Like a feed-in tube conference.
Okay,
and that's why people's like, oh, they collect all this.
Olay Foundation was the feeding tube conference that she was supposed to go to in June, but she didn't want to go because she knew they were going to figure out nothing was wrong with her. Here we go.
Money? No. Okay, the house, she was a refugee of Katrina. Gypsy didn't get that house because, and it wasn't free. Her mom paid a mortgage, for one. For 2, she didn't get it because she was sick. She got it because she was a victim of Hurricane Katrina. The ramp was the.
Let me tell you something. Not every victim or not every person that lost their house in Hurricane Katrina ended up with a house like that. No, I do not believe them. Not one. I don't believe that at all. Habitat for Humanity. I don't believe them. That's bull. Here we go.
Only thing that was donated because of her disabilities. The house itself, if I would have moved there, I could have got that. Anybody that was displaced, I mean, we had a nonprofit rebuild our house.
We actually didn't even get the house based on being Hurricane Katrina survivors. We got the house because we fit the criteria. Anybody, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, you can. But I know in the article it says Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, and that's what's so misleading.
But you do have to fit a criteria.
You have to fit a criteria. You have to make a certain amount of money.
Yep, it was not free.
It was not free. Anybody that knows any factual information about Habitat for Humanity knows that these are not free houses. But like you said, with Mike saying that broad statement, oh, you know, the medications made her teeth fall out. Okay, there's so many people that have in the media that has talked about this case.
The free house.
Free house and free car and free this and free that. Actually, in reality, when we first moved to Missouri, they gave the community of Aurora, Missouri, or maybe it was Springfield, I'm not sure, but somebody from the area donated my mother it was an old ass car. I mean, this thing was on its last dying leg, but she traded that car for a van and then was paying the notes on the.
So who provided your wheelchairs? Because you had 4 of them and 2 of them were motorized. What corporation provided that to you, Gypsy Rose? I want to know about that. You see, there's just so much of this, and she's like, there's no way your mother paid for all these things. There's no way. Because she did not even have a job, right? So where were you getting all this money from? Here we go. Makes me so mad.
She paid the van off.
Makes me so mad.
Then the little, what do you call that? Cube car. She had like 10 grand in that money pouch. She took out 5.
And then you
put a down payment on that cube, and the rest of the 4 or 5, I took after the crime. That's in evidence.
Yeah, and you know that. Okay, when people.
She just admitted that she stole from her mother. Did you hear that? I took after the crime. You committed a crime, or now you're admitting it, right? She committed a crime. Here we go. First time ever.
People say your mom was bedridden. Your mom bought that car when 8.
I don't know the exact date, but it was not that long before.
Right.
What?
Why would she buy a car?
Bedridden whatsoever.
Right.
No, her mother was very ill.
Gypsy decided to bring up some of the bills that her mother had kept, I guess, just for the record of having them. Some of which included a trip to Disney where it showed that Dee Dee did actually take out a credit card to pay for some of the trips, which was kind of confusing because Gypsy also said that she only received 1 Make-A-Wish from that organization. And I guess in her mind, that means that she never got help from any other organization ever, which we all know that's not true. Literally earlier in this video, she received $3,500 from Miranda Lambert. But she's convinced in her mind that her dad was always on time paying child support, and he was actually the one to fund the Disney trip. And that's why Dee Dee took the credit card out, which if Dee Dee was jacking up her credit and messing up everybody else's credit and taking out credit cards in other people's names, would she not have like really bad credit to not be able to open up a credit card to go to Disney? I don't know. Maybe she did. Who knows? Maybe her credit really wasn't all that bad. But Gypsy wants to deny that her dad was never late on child support and that he paid well past her 18th birthday. They always want to claim that he was paying $1,200 a month, and I've done the math on it before, and there's just no way he was ever doing that. And we know that because there is actual evidence of him going to court to show that he was behind on child support.
Right,
and Gypsy thinks his little handwritten notes from a random notebook is evidence enough that Rod was essentially funding their entire lifestyle, but we know that's not true. And as a matter of fact, in a couple...
Isn't that pathetic? It really is pathetic, actually. If you stop and think about this. She is never, ever going to be able... She's never going to admit the damn truth. She's never going to admit the facts that she knows that everything they were doing, she was getting funded by something else. It was not her father. It was free shit here, there, and everywhere from corporations.
Videos ago that I made, I was reading about how one of the people that were involved with Universal Studios met with Dee Dee and Gypsy because they gifted them free tickets to Universal Studios.
Hello.
And this was at the same exact time when Gypsy was going to be meeting the cast of Harry Potter. And I read this entire document where she was talking about how, you know, Dee Dee was telling her that Gypsy was sick and that she had cancer and that she needed a free Harry Potter wand, which I guess they're pretty expensive at Disney World or Universal, I don't really know, but as a way to kind of help her beat her sickness, which it's funny because Gypsy just like last week was talking about this situation at one of her last trips, saying that her mother was telling people that she only had 6 months to live because she was sick. Obviously, she was getting help from this organization to be able to get free tickets. I don't know why in Gypsy's mind she's just convinced that she got the one trip, but all the other trips were somehow magically paid for. I don't believe so. As a matter of fact, we know that the entire Blanchard family has access to the records where they can see all of the charities that Dee Dee was applying Gypsy for as a way to get all of Gypsy's wishes granted. Whether it be from the literal Make-A-Wish or it's from the Ollie Foundation or various other ones, she still benefited from those charities.
She got a lot of Make-A-Wish things, so she got to go to Disney and see all of that stuff and get trips to Disney. She got trips on cruises.
Angel Flight, Hope Lodge, Miranda Lambert. They met her
listen to
at
this.
a concert.
This is important. Listen.
And she got backstage passes. She got to sit down with the whole Harry Potter crew and have dinner.
Happy endings are not just in fairy tales. They're real and true in real life also.
So here we can literally see a copy of the newspaper where it's talking about Gypsy getting this trip from the Children's Wish Endowment, and it says, on Cinderella's throne until she came on stage, a trip to MGM Studios was where Gypsy rode 3 times on the E.T. ride at Universal Studios.
Imagine
I love
this.
E.T. I've worn out 3 E.T. movie tapes because he's my favorite, said Gypsy.
Thank you for coming by. I appreciate
There
it.
were so many firsts for her on this trip.
I appreciate
She
you.
rode in a limousine, and she felt like a princess.
Imagine this, guys. Imagine this. So, there are children who wait hours and hours in line to ride these rides, okay? But then we have little Miss lying Gypsy Rose Blanchard over here cutting in front of other people because she's sick. She got special places in line. She's handicapped, all right? Because, you know, when you're at Disney, if you've been there, you notice they have a section for people who have disabilities and they have a regular section. The people with the disabilities get to get on first before the people in the regular section. So that's just the way it works. And they get different places in the cars. Like you can't be in the middle because they might need to be in the middle. So just think about that when you're here listening to her talk about how she didn't get nothing. What the God bless it.
Says she flew on a plane and rode on a horse. This trip would have only been her dream without the Children's Wish Endowment, said Dee Dee. The Disney trip has been a favorite family wish destination for 41 of the 90 children under the age of 18 who suffer from life-threatening illnesses since the CWE was founded in conjunction with the opening of the North Shore Regional Medical Center in 1985. The nonprofit organization, with funds raised through donations, able to cover complete cost of family trips, including transportation, lodging, and give kids the world on the Disney grounds, and spending money for incidentals. We had enough money left over from our trip to buy medicine and develop our 21 rolls of film, said Dee Dee.
21
Children's Wish
rolls of
Endowment
film.
makes no
21.
telephone solicitations for donations for those wanting.
21 rolls of film. Do you know how much money that cost? Yeah, you grew up to Disney. You grew up going to Disneyland. Those lines, they are really long. I'll tell you what, when we took Tristan, my child, my baby, when we took him to Disney in California for his 5th birthday, remember the Cars ride was it was just opening up. I stood in line holding that baby. My husband and I were putting him back and forth to each other, having to hold him because he was too tired for 4 hours to ride this Cars ride at Disney. It was in August and it was hot as hell. And then we've got little Miss Piece of Shit Gypsy and her lying ass running up there to the first of the line and getting on there before everybody else because she lied to everybody. She knew from the time she was 6 years old she could walk, and oh my God, this is what makes me upset with her so bad. Everybody wants to blame her mother. It's not just her mother. It's her too.
To help with the Slidell-based CWE, which aids parish children. We are so grateful for the past year and can't think of a way to thank the people who have befriended us and the Children's Wish Endowment for the dream trip to Disney World, said Dee Dee. So mother and daughter have decided that their new goal in the new year is to show their appreciation to the community by giving of their time and talents to Aldersgate Church and Children's Wish. We can't wait to see what the new year will bring, but it will have to have something really outstanding to beat this year that we've just had. And we know that Gypsy also was getting money through the Ollie Foundation and receiving donations through there. And then we can see this, which, funny enough, the reason why we don't actually know how many charities Gypsy and Dee Dee scammed is because they didn't want to comment when they were asked to. Charities and organizations they benefited from, probably because they knew it was not a good look. So Gypsy wants to pretend that she didn't get multiple wishes, whether it's through one organization or another. She had multiple all expenses paid trips. So, it's still the same thing pretty much. But this article here says...
This is good to know because that has been the question I've had about this for a long time. Why are none of these corporations saying a word? They're embarrassed. It's not a good look. People won't donate to them anymore if they realize that they were scammed by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Come on now. Here we go. Let's listen.
Today, Dee Dee and Gypsy, now 11, are living in public housing in Slidell and have found themselves being embraced by an ever larger circle of people who care. The Lord really knew what He wanted for us because today we have a roof over our heads and an adopted family of Granny Mary and Ronald Gisclair, a church family at Aldersgate United Methodist Church, social workers for Gypsy, and we were given a trip to Disney World in Florida by the Children's Wish Endowment. I'm also a brownie in Troop 23, said Gypsy proudly. With 4 picture-studded scrapbooks on their laps, they relived 21 rolls of film, moments of their precious trip of a lifetime. I saw the play The Lion King in the Animal Kingdom and swam with the dolphins and snorkeled with the stingrays on Discovery Cove. She also met Mickey Mouse.
I swam with the dolphins. I snorkeled. I thought she was disabled. I thought she couldn't walk. I thought that she was in a wheelchair. How's she doing all these things in a wheelchair? I also remember hearing her say at one point, I was so full of sugar, I just danced all the way down when they were having the parade. In a wheelchair? Hell no. She's out walking around, running around. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. How many kids passed that could have gone on these trips? That's what makes me so mad. It makes me mad. I mean, there are children who really did deserve these, not her. Now, I will say this. There is proof in the medical records that she had to have blood transfusions and some other things. There was many things wrong with Gypsy Rose. Her mother did not have Munchausen. Gypsy Rose really had some medical problems because of her chromosome deletion. But it was not that she couldn't walk. That's completely different. Being disabled where you cannot walk or being a paraplegic is very different than, oh, I just have some weak muscles, or, oh, I've got, a blood cancer, or something like that. And it's very different. Makes me sick. Here we go. Sorry.
Ate at the Magic Castle. We also know that she danced with the prince. She went on Christmas at one point because she talked about in the interrogation when she's talking to the random officer, talking and saying that you should avoid going to Disney on Christmas. So clearly she would know that and that it's a better time to go like in January. Probably because it's so busy or whatever, how she ate so much food. She had all you can eat sugar meal plan, like all of it.
Okay, so this is your first time on the beach, you said, yeah?
This is my first time on the beach.
Lying piece of shit.
How was today? I heard some fun things happened.
Yeah, I got to go to the beach for the first time, and that was really exciting. Walked around the Grove, went to Sephora for the first time.
Listen to that. Listen to that.
This has just definitely been a wonderful day for me.
So she goes on national television lying. See, here's the thing. She never really thought any of this other information was going to be public. She really thought she was going to get away with lying about all of this. All of it. Oh.
Wait, the beach for the first time ever?
Smile. I want to slap her.
Past January, some of the cast.
Disgusting.
Because my mom and I went on vacation to Universal Studios. I bought me
did you?
a lot of people, my mom and I bought the exclusive pack. They shut down the park.
Listen to this.
To where you and only from everyone else.
So it's like the VIP experience.
We bought. You didn't buy shit. You were given a VIP experience where they shut down the park and you and a few others were able to enjoy the park differently than the rest of us because why? Lying.
And they have this special
makes me
event.
upset.
You can go walk around, eat free ice cream.
You can walk around?
It's just the whole thing to yourself. My mom and I just talked to guest relations, and they were in that tell.
My mom and I talked to guest relations, and they were able to fit me in. Wow.
The celebrities, like, where they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So you get one of the big important people to be friends with. Yeah.
You guys are smart.
At Disney World, I got to go to Magic Kingdom. Walk with Prince Charming and Cinderella.
Really?
That was really fun. My mom and I unlimited food.
Okay.
A human being cannot eat this much food.
Too much food?
Way too much sugar. Whenever you go anywhere in Disney, they try to put sugar.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't mind the
so
sugar.
filled with sugar that I was dancing up and down Main Street. It's nothing because the park is all closed. The castle was there, and I go to the castle.
So they got y'all in that.
It's been 4 days since she killed her mother. Look at her. Look at how she's acting. Unbelievable. No remorse, no nothing. Psychopath.
I think it was Epcot. Flavor of the soda or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went through that.
Yeah, well.
You tried Beverly?
0-0.
That's the cookie tasting one.
Was it?
Yeah, they say, so I'm like, I take a full cup and I shove it all down at once. No bad taste. I'm like, I want more. And then Mom's like, no, you have to sip. I'm like, I go down.
I forgot I made myself a cup of
Probably
coffee.
once every 2
Hey, Sprinkle
3
Donna,
years.
what are you doing, girl?
Usually
I'm
like
missing you. I hope you're okay.
3 weeks in Florida.
Wow.
Just so we don't run. You can't do it all in 1 day.
Right.
So we usually do half park 1 day.
3 weeks before.
Listen to that. Listen to that. You can't do it all in 3 days. So we usually do a half. How many times has she been there on somebody else's money? Come on, man.
Mom and I had went for Christmas Day.
Damn.
And you couldn't even see.
Really?
And if you ever do get to go to Hollywood and Vine to Disney's.
If you ever get to go. Oh, you want to come up? Sure. Let me drop this for you. Great. You know, here's the thing. Anybody listening, if anybody wants to come up and join in, please do. You're more than welcome. Let me drop this from my friend over here, Sprinkle. All right. Let me drop this over here. There you go, girl. Here. So glad you're here. Yeah, I've been missing my Sprinkle. She's been working a little bit extra, so. All right. It's just unbelievable when you listen to this. Oops, I hit it.
Hollywood Studios and had dinner or lunch with an Imagineer. That's really amazing.
She was nominated for the Ollie Foundation Child of the Year Award. Health issues don't stop Gypsy from encouraging and uplifting others. Before Hurricane Katrina caused Gypsy and her mother to relocate, Gypsy would talk at a university in New Orleans on why people should help and love one another. Even in Gypsy's book, we can see where she's talking about the various charities that she scammed. Gypsy says, watched my mother maneuver her way around the system, craftily researching help and even perks available to a kid like me.
All right. Hey, girl, how you doing? So good to see you.
Girl.
We've been busy. Good to see you.
Yeah, I just got home and I saw you were on and I was like, oh, let me come on.
Yeah, we're talking about nasty ass Gypsy Rose Blanchard and how all of the fraud and how these corporations allowed this because they did not do their due diligence. If they had done that, they would realize they were being scammed. And
oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, now we have the problem where they don't want to address it because they're embarrassed about it. And they know they did not do their due diligence and they were scammed. They all know.
Well, why do you think she sent that payment of $4,000 when she got out of jail?
Does she feel guilty, or do you think that was just a good thing to do? You know, yeah. $4,000 wasn't enough to do shit.
That was a CYA. That's all that was straight CYA.
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how many, and like Morgan Aaliyah has said, I appreciate her letting us use her content under fair use from Section 107 of the Copyright Act in 1976 for social media influencers for informational and entertainment purposes only. Okay, so this is not as a professional advertisement. If you would like to no, I don't want to put that there. Anyway, we're talking about just Gypsy Rose and how some of this could have been avoided, because had at least one of these foundations or one of these corporations stopped and looked at the whole big picture, they would have seen that they were being scammed, and all of this would have stopped way back when.
I mean, I know they can't, due to HIPAA laws, there's a lot of things that they can't substantiate, but you think that there would be better investigations into people before they awarded them with some of these things.
But some of these things were very valuable. That trip, all expenses paid to Disney, all that was very valuable.
Right.
I mean,
there's got to be a better way of screening these people. You know, HIPAA keeps them from getting medical information.
But you know what?
But there's got to be a better way.
There was not a HIPAA law when she was getting all this, was there? Let's see, when did the HIPAA law come into place? Let's check and see. I'm going to find out. We're going to talk about that. I mean, let's see, when did the HIPAA law become part of everyday life? Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. Well, the health insurance, this was back in 1996 to safeguard patient privacy. Okay, 1996. So I guess it was out there, I don't know. But yeah. I'm just saying but you could look at her and see that she was not that young. You could look at her and see that she was much older than what she was portraying. When I look at her picture, at least I can. You know?
I think that they saw all the other companies doing it. There were so many people providing her with things, Habitat, all the, Make-A-Wish. I think they just figured they were just going to be one more that was doing it,
But what did they hope to gain out of this? I mean,
the companies?
Yeah, the corporations who put themselves in that position. What were they gaining?
Yeah, they don't gain anything. They're just, they're there to provide to the sick kids. I think, they get a lot of donations from people. They probably get a lot of donations from very wealthy people. So the more that they give, the more that they probably get in donations. So it probably comes back around to scratch them on the back in some way. But, I wonder how difficult it actually is to become, eligible for Make-A-Wish. We should look that up to see what you have to do if you want to become a Make-A-Wish participant. Like what you have to go through now compared to then to become eligible. There's got to be guidelines. There's got to be guidelines for it. Yeah.
I mean, I was telling my story about when I gave a puppy, to Make-A-Wish, so.
Yeah. Aww.
Yeah, and this was a few years back, and I had my dog. It's a whole long thing about this dog and these puppies, and I wanted to make sure they went to good homes, but I also wanted to make sure that people got these puppies who really wanted a puppy, but they were not for sale. I was not selling them. They were full-blood Chinese cresteds. So, anyway. Well, let's play this one longer. She just makes me so mad. Well, let's look up that information on Make-A-Wish.
I didn't know it was a scam until about a year after I found my Medicaid card with the correct birth date listed.
Oh, bullshit.
When Mama became more physical and violent with me after I re-questioned her about it, pushing back against her storytelling, the discovery of my real birth date was not my aha moment per se, but it did act as if a warning siren to be more alert and observe more closely. Mama was a natural-born salesperson. She told me she sold phone books door to door. Back when there were phone books, she was selling me a version of herself who worked like a dog after my father left us, with only her to take care of me. But I see now this has to be a lie. Phone books were left on people's doorsteps for free. I do remember Mama bought a Gateway computer and started doing photo restoration with it. She had a little business where she would take old and scratched up prints and fix them up real nice. When it was time for our 2-hour and 45-minute drive from Springfield to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City to see my neurologist, cardiologist, pulmonologist, and allergist, my mother found help from charities that reimburse families for their gas money. Mama would buy the gas and have those receipts and send them in so she'd get reimbursement. At the same time, she'd book the same medical visit through Angel Flight, a program in which pilots donate their planes and their time to patients in need of medical or charitable care.
How are you going to have gas receipts for the drive and be on an Angel Flight? You can't be both. Please explain this to me. So right there's a contradiction right there. How's that going to happen? Okay, because, you know, the dates would have to match the date that you went to that hospital. So if you got an Angel Flight, you damn sure didn't drive there.
Yeah.
Right?
So she'd take the cash for the gas reimbursement even though we were flying for free and not driving at all. Thinking about how cruel this was to do to the charities and the families who were actually in need makes me nauseous and regretful. The lies continued when she began knocking back my age, which she started doing after I got my first period. I'm assuming this was to avoid the catastrophic reactions when the doctors would say a 16-year-old should most certainly have her period. When my mother was unconscious from Ambien, I went on the search for information about the outside world, what friends did together, what relationships look like, how to kiss, how teenagers spent their day, what kids did in classrooms, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. What do you mean when my mother was knocked out from her Ambien? How much Ambien was she possibly taking? That's a scary statement, isn't it?
Well, if she was knocked out, she had every opportunity she could have left.
That's right. Oh my gosh, you're right, Sprinkled. When her mother was knocked out from Ambien, she could have called somebody for help. But no, she just wanted to stay there and get some more freebies. Oh my God.
And she brings up her dad, and it says, Mike Stanfield was the one who first told me that my father had been sending money and letters and gifts for me all of those years.
Lie.
I didn't believe him. I sent you cards.
Lie. She knew her dad was sending money. She talked to her dad on the phone. Everybody knew exactly where she was. The Petries, the Blanchard, they all were lying. They all knew she could frickin' walk. All of them had been caught lying. Here we go.
For every occasion, Dad said. But she told me you didn't even know when my birthday was. I sent you a laptop one year, didn't you get it? But she told me we got that from charity. I left messages on your mama's voicemail wondering about you and wanting to know if she got the money I sent for the operation. But she told me you didn't care about me, that you were all about having a son, and now that you got one, I was dead to you. Do you know how many times I've called Dee Dee to try to plan trips with you? Christy said, I even wanted to take you for long holidays, but she told me that you were a bitch.
Wait a minute. Nope, that's not true. I remember not too long ago hearing one of the stories where Christy and Rod and all, they were going on a vacation. They were going to go through Missouri, and Dee Dee thought that they were going to pick Gypsy up and take her with them. But no, they were not picking Gypsy up to take her with them, but they did want to do a few things with her while they were in town. They had no desire to take this child anywhere with them because it was too much trouble with the wheelchairs and all the other stuff. It just got in their way. That's the truth of the facts.
And that Dad
was easier for Rod to send money for her. That's
she always thought we.
That's it. That's right. You know, look, you have to. Sprinkle, you have to excuse my appearance. I didn't put on any makeup or anything. I just jumped on when everybody went off to. I knew they were going to go to the hockey game, so I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to go and do my live. Anyway, here we go.
You still look beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you think so, but I feel kind of naked and weird. But anyway, let's go.
We were cheating behind her back, and that wasn't true. Christy said, Dad and Christy wanted me. They loved me. You would think such news would have elated me, but instead I felt sadder than I ever had, like I was back in the shed, awaking from the dream I had of our unhappy life.
Oh, God.
But, you know, Christy also liked to kind of position it like, oh.
Okay. Let's look at this picture. Let me make this bigger if I can. Oh, there y'all go. Look at, no, it's not much bigger, is it? Let's see. Look at that picture right there. How old do you think she was? Special Olympics, guys. Special Olympics. Let's look real close. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, she looks just the same as she does now.
Right there. Yeah, she does. She looks just like Rod. All right. Here you go.
The minute that Dee Dee was unhappy with something, she was dragging us back to court. I have that on a live where she's talking about how Dee Dee did it as a way to punish him.
It was making Gypsy sicker because you and Rod were happier. That doesn't explain what happened in Missouri at all.
And it doesn't explain the facts that the hospital visits lessened after the microdeletion was detected.
Did y'all see on the hospital visits and the special notes and a lot of them that said that Rod and Christy were not allowed?
Yeah.
I was like, dang. You know?
Well, why didn't Rod go to court and demand visitation and demand access to what you thought was your sick child?
Yeah. This is, I mean, we've talked about that and...
Wait a minute. Okay, Christy's over here making excuses. That's what she's doing. Because I'm going to tell you something. Anybody who wants a relationship with their child, even if the child is states away, it is possible to get a relationship with your child. That's why you have the court system. And yes, it costs money. And maybe that's the reason why you did not have a relationship with your daughter, because of the money. Because we know that Christy over here controlled the purse strings. Thank you. There's your answer, folks, right there.
Every time you get into an argument, Rod had to, like, Christy, please, she'd bring him to court. He's like, Christy, for the love of God. We're arguing with her. She brings him to court every time.
What's he doing? Oh, here we go.
And it's for petty shit. Petty stuff she'd bring him to court for. He didn't pay for a Band-Aid.
Like what? Child support?
Yeah, like what?
He didn't pay for a Band-Aid. Oh, Lord, take him to court. It was petty, a lot of petty stuff.
But that was his child. Maybe Dee Dee felt like Rod wasn't supporting her.
He was paying support. Plus, when they went on vacation, plus $100.
But there's records of him.
The day she got married.
But there's records of him not paying child support.
Yeah, that was once or twice when he was between jobs and he caught up.
He still owed, I thought, by the time she died.
No. Well, the last child support payment was deposited the night before it happened.
Why was he paying child support on
wait a minute.
Gypsy when Gypsy was...
The last child... Oh, this is a good question that's coming up right here. Because Gypsy killed her mother when she was almost 24 years old, right? Why was he still paying child support when she was past 18 years old? What is what is the story going on? What's happening right here? Let's see what it is.
23 years old at that point.
Because we thought Dee Dee worked around the clock taking care of Gypsy, and it was no ands, ifs, or buts. We were still going to support.
That's a lie. They all knew she could walk. What are you talking about? You all knew the truth. What are you talking about? Oh, my God.
We thought we were supporting that household. It wasn't child ordered after 18. There was.
After you're 18,
we will continue to
the
pay.
judge doesn't.
Quite honest, that's the least he could have done was pay child support. I mean.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that Gypsy also was well aware that they were raising money by hosting the movies at their house. They would charge for the snacks and the drinks. They would also raise money by doing GoFundMe campaigns on Facebook.
Yep.
Literally, Gypsy's trip. Like, all of that was a way for them to earn money and whatever, but yet she can't really seem to, like, get it in her head that Rod Blanchard was not sending $1,200 every single month till she was 23, 24 years old. Why? Because we can literally see where Dee Dee had to take him to court. So here you can clearly see, it says, after reviewing the pleadings, hearings, the evidence, and considering the stipulations of the parties therein, the court does herewith enter the following order. It is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that there will be judgment here in favor of the plaintiff, Claudine P. Blanchard, defendant Rod Blanchard Jr. And
Hang on a minute. Let's talk about something. What do you mean he made a deposit the night before this happened? There's this little 24-hour period before this happened is very questionable, because we know that Nick was already in town and he was at this hotel over here. I mean, there's some parts of this that makes no sense at all, and there's some parts of this that it seems like something is still being hidden from the public about that night, who all was at the house, and exactly when this actually happened. Because they split and left, and nobody knew that her mother was laying there in that house that had the air conditioner turned down to 60, and with all kinds of dryer sheets laying around everywhere. They said that her date of death was on the day she was found, because that's kind of how the coroner works. Those days, there was valuable evidence lost in those days, because really, the air conditioner was on 60, and nobody supposedly went in there. But yet, no, there's some stuff that does not make any sense. And the only person that knows the truth is Nick, and he will not talk. And I don't understand that, but let's go.
The sum of $350 for the past due alimony, which is to be paid within 90 days of the date. It is further ordered, and judge blah blah blah, that in favor of the plaintiff Dee Dee Blanchard against defendant Rod Blanchard in the sum of $830 for past due medical bills, which is to be paid within 90 days. And then another one, $200 plus attorney's fees, that he was to pay $100 per month commencing October 1st, 1998. It is further ordered, adjudged, and decreed that defendant Rod Blanchard has an arrearage of medical, dental, and pharmacy expenses for the benefit of their minor child in the amount of $2,570.23, covering the time period from January 1st through the date of this hearing. It is further ordered that...
Now, I don't understand how he would owe these things when other people were paying these things, and they had Medicaid. She was on Medicaid. What is he doing paying for anything? Some of this is so weird, isn't it? Hang on.
Rod Blanchard is found to be in contempt of court and ordered to serve 10 days in the Lafourche Parish Detention Center. The defendant is to pay his current child support obligation as it becomes due. Defendant is to pay all medical bills, dental bills, and pharmacy expenses of the minor child. Defendant is to pay his permanent alimony obligation as it becomes due. The defendant is to provide the plaintiff with his present physical address, present mailing address, and present phone number, and information of any change in his address or telephone number. I wonder why they would have to put that in there.
Yes.
Defendant is to pay the alimony arrearage of $350 and $830 of the medical expense arrearage within 90 days of the date. Defendant is to pay the sum of $200 as attorney fees to partially reimburse plaintiff Dee Dee Blanchard for this case against Rod. He shall pay permanent alimony in the amount of $100. We can look and see all of these various things that he had to get into. Judgment.
Wow.
So,
this is
judgment, that one's involving Dee Dee. That one's involving Dee Dee. Which, I mean, that's really not crazy. It was only a couple times.
Right.
Then he had to do it again. And it was present with counsel. Mr. John Organ was present with Miss Blanchard. Consent of all parties. Court ordered that child support should be increased. But yeah, even looking at Gypsy's book, where she's showing Rod's notes of the child support stuff going on, it doesn't even add up to what he said. $1,200 a month is like an extreme amount of money. And we all know that he was not doing that because he also had another child. So he would have been paying that for all of them? No.
He had not only Gypsy, but another child by somebody else, plus the family that he had with Christy. Yeah. I mean, the man had a bunch, he was just a little bit, what we're going to say, out there everywhere. But see, this right here, this piece of paper here with all the stuff on it that's in her book, I don't know who made that up, but it certainly does not match the court documents, does it? But again, here's the thing. As the father of a child, if you really wanted to spend time with your child, you would make the time and you would make the financial arrangements for you to spend time with your child. But he obviously did not want to, because if he did, he would have. I'm going to put it out there just like that. Because when you really want to spend time with your child, you make a way. You make a way to do it.
There's no way, obviously.
That I ruined her life. That I have no idea how hard it is to keep up everything she built.
Did you understand that you being sick was necessary to keep up what she built? Because you got a house from Habitat for Humanity, you got donations, you got different things from people for being sick.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a source of income for her, right?
It was, yes. And I had no idea that I was a part of that.
Lie.
You didn't know that you were a cash cow.
No.
The captions, she said, I made a donation to Make-A-Wish privately because it felt like something I needed to do for myself to try and make things right in my own way. It wasn't about recognition or posting it online. It was about quietly taking responsibility for something that was painful and complicated, especially since it involved my mom's actions. I didn't feel like sharing it publicly because it wasn't about optics, it was about integrity. So now that some time has passed, I wanted to share because I want my voice to be heard, and I'm trying to be a better person than my mother was.
I even had a conversation with Lifetime because there was, like, we filmed, they were at my house whenever I made the donation to Make-A-Wish. And I still have the receipt from that. Like, I sent it to you if you remember.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed that they did.
It was only because she wanted it to be on her show. It had nothing to do with feeling bad about anything she did. Understand that, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We are not stupid. Hang on, let's go.
Didn't show that because I'm like, that was something that I wanted to do. That was something that was on my heart. And all these haters are like, did she make a donation and then went into like so much just to try to message Make-A-Wish, like asking if I did or if I didn't. I did. I have the receipt. But I'm not like bragging about it. That's not why I did it.
Said, no. That's what they would have said if you would have showed it anyway.
Like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't.
Every single
you know what though? Let me ask y'all something. Don't you think if she's going to give money back to Make-A-Wish that she ought to give money back to every single corporation that they defrauded? Every single one of them. She knows exactly where each one of them is. She knows everything she received. She can't sit there and act stupid.
My proxy parent, they literally try to get their kid as close to death as possible, and Gypsy was out riding horses and swimming with the dolphins at Disney World. You know, and the thing about malingering, it's not really mental illness, it's just fraud. That, like, truly, Munchausen by proxy syndrome is a mental illness. And although they know and they're aware, they can't really control it. And it's like this obsession in their head. And that's why people always like to clarify that this is malingering. And malingering is literally just fraud.
Fraud. Thank you.
The money is the benefit. And with Munchausen by proxy, you are focusing solely on the emotional gratification and the attention that you receive. It's not about financial gain. Now, we know that Gypsy didn't get any of the medications that she didn't need. She only got things that she did need.
That's right.
And, you know, just telling people that she had these random things but not actually treating her for them as a way to scam charities, malingering. But then again, in Gypsy's mind, her dad was actually paying for all those trips, and Dee Dee wasn't scamming that many charities, and she only scammed Make-A-Wish.
You know, well, listen, I know the reason why she's done this. I know the reason why she's claiming her dad paid for all this. Listen, she gets out of jail. She's going to get out of prison. She's got to have some place to be paroled to, right? She's going to make parole. She's got to get paroled. She did not want to go to her mother, to Christy and John and Rod's house. Here's the other part of this. Christy and Rod did not want her to come there either. Let me ask you something. How many people would trust somebody who's just coming out of being in prison for 8.5 years to come live with them, knowing that she took her mother's life and that she really had no remorse about it? Never thought twice about it. Think about that. So, then, we've got Ryan Anderson over here, who finally today, he says, I will not admit that I was used. But he does say that he does feel like she took advantage of him, right? And but he won't use the word used. He knows he was used, right? He was used because on day 91 of her living in Louisiana, she went and filed for divorce because the rules are you have to live there for 90 days before you can file for divorce. So on day 91, she goes down there and files for divorce. She never intended to live with him at all. This was a stepping stone for her because she's a psychopathic user. And she uses everybody she can. Look what she's now done to Bree. Bree was stupid enough to fall for it. Here we go.
Once, when we know that's literally not true. But, I want to know your thoughts on everything. What do you think about this whole scenario? What do you think about Gypsy trying to reiterate the fact that, Rod paid for those Disney trips and doing all these things, and her mom was paying bills with Rod's money, all this stuff. Like, instead of it just being Dee Dee literally scamming multiple different charities and then also scamming multiple different people, getting money, like, a good majority of that didn't come from Rod. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But I want to know your thoughts on everything that Gypsy's put out recently. So drop your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button.
Appreciate it.
I will see you on the next one. Bye.
All right, let's take it off of this one. Now here's the thing about, I mean, it's clear. You can kind of see what's going on here, right? And the reason why she has to make her dad look better than he is, because she needed him to keep believing in her and supporting her, right? Because she does not want him to ever say, oh no, she did it out of meanness. Listen, it's so easy to see that there was so many different things led up to this. I mean, she talks about some surgery. She knew she wasn't going to have another surgery. It was all about going to that convention over in New York, the OLE convention. She didn't want to go. She knew she'd be caught right then and there. Well, let's go watch something else. Hang on a second, guys. Let's go watch back to, let's see. Hang on a minute. I'm going to make down through here for a second. Two crime scene photos. Okay, let's see. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's evidence videos. Let's watch some of this for a minute, okay? And we're going to stop and talk about it as we go. Hang on just a second. This is going to be full credit to Conspiracy Tea. Okay, there we go.
These that are like crochet and they're white. They're really
now
pretty.
look at those. Everyone
This is the carrier that I strap on me to
under
carry the baby around.
Her other alternate person.
And this is the bin full of clothes. So, okay, on this side we have the girl, and this side we have the boys. Hats, tons and tons of hats, bibs, socks, beautiful clothes. And can you believe all of this Demona got for the baby?
Demona got for the baby, right? Demona got it for the baby. Conspiracy. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys.
Pay a dime for any of this.
No,
and this is like name brand good clothes. It's not like anything Walmart-ish or anything. This is like Ralph Lauren and Polo or certain kind of labels that you get from the mall. Like this one right here, this one was $36.
Well, now, see what you're seeing here. Would you really want her living in the house with you? Absolutely not. Hell no.
And free. So thank you, Demona, for that.
Share it again. Let me share my screen. I messed it up.
Yep, all of this is for the baby. So if we
let me share it. All right, there you go, guys.
Show you that if I ever had a child, like a little boy, I would want him to wear this, and I'd be one of those moms that make their little boy dress like a...
Okay, so here she is in these videos showing these clothes to Nick that Demona stole, right? And so she's every bit of 21 to 22 years old. Demona stole these. She didn't steal them. Just ask her. But, listen. People used to say, well, no, Dee Dee was shoplifting. No, Dee Dee was not shoplifting. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was shoplifting because nobody ever looked in her wheelchair. They thought she was some little child with all kinds of disabilities and didn't have the ability to steal anything. Such a good grift, wasn't it?
A little gentleman. So look
how
cute this is.
Well, and two, I mean, she's not even hesitating as she's making these, like, afraid that her mom's going to walk in the door, or, like, she's not rushing to do it quickly, afraid that her mom might come in and hear her. She's, like, free to speak however she wants to speak, and for as long as she wants to speak. Where's Dee Dee, the helicopter mom, who never let her out of her sight?
That's right.
Where is she able to do this?
Well, she's asleep. She's asleep over there on her Ambien, passed out, right? I mean, I guess that's what's going on here. But see, when you watch all of these videos that's coming out, this FOIA, I think there's hundreds of them actually. Dee Dee was not asleep all the time. Damona, what the fuck? Right. Thank you, Elizabeth Thurman. That's right. And yes, this is all adult tonight. We can say curse words. I am not monetized. It is fine. We'll say what we want to say and speak how we want to speak. Because this is absolutely horrific and disgusting. And the fact that she's out there walking amongst us. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, knowing what you're seeing right here, do you think that she is still, do you think that she would hesitate to steal today? No. She's still the same old person. She's still the thieving, conniving sociopath that she's always been. Exactly. When you listen to her and pay attention to what she's saying and doing, you can see it. Absolutely.
I got that. Mixing it up.
I don't mean to be loud. I just can't stand her.
So all of this has just been free. Thank you to Damona.
It's all
so
free.
She helped a lot with that.
Where does she have all this stuff stored?
Already.
Like her mom never goes through anything in the house. Those are big tubs.
Well, did you
Those
see
are
that
little
house?
tiny bags full of stuff. Yeah, I know that house was just full of crap.
That house was hoarded up completely. And and here's the thing. Her mother knew all that was there. Her mother saw all of these things. Her mother was not blind. I mean, listen, look at all the wigs and the different dresses and all these things that she was wearing in these disgusting videos that she made for Nick, just using him as well. Look at all of that. Where did that come from? Where did the money come from? How was she doing these things? Her mother knew she had those things. They were not just hidden somewhere. Good God. We're not stupid, Gypsy Rose. We're not stupid.
Well, yeah, but, at one point she was saying, all she had was Disney clothes and dresses like a little girl. Bullshit. She had tank tops. She had lingerie. She had wigs. She had all kinds of sexy clothes.
She's exactly the same today.
She probably stole it all.
She's exactly the same person. She just told us that she spent $5,000 on wigs. Why?
Yeah, she probably stole all of that.
I don't understand it. Why you need to spend $5,000? And let me tell you something. I saw the other day. I don't like to watch her, and I don't want to watch her. But I went over and watched for just a moment, and I listened. And actually, this live got shut down because of there was underage people watching this live, and it got shut down. But she is over there grifting again, begging them, well, we need money for IVF, and we need, what the hell? There's nothing wrong with you. Why do you need IVF?
Oh,
I'll
Jesus.
tell you why. Yeah, because she wants to just get a boy. She just wants to get pregnant with a boy, and then she's done. Look, Ken is never going to marry her. I don't know why she is so stupid and can't see that. But here's the flip side. Why would she want to get married to Ken when she can get all these free things from the government? Medicaid, the babies are being paid, food stamps. Why would she want to, get married? You lose all that when you get married. She knows that. She's not dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It just goes on and on.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
need the baby.
I'm sure she's getting all kinds of stuff.
So, and I got the money.
She did her baby registry over there or wherever it was. She did not pay for one thing. All of these dumbasses spent their money to pay for all of these things for her baby that she didn't even send thank you notes for. She doesn't know those people. She doesn't want to know those people. She just wants everything for free because that is how she's always lived. Period.
For that,
Yeah.
and so yeah. So I am all ready. That's why if your mom was probably freaking out because she's like, oh, she's probably gonna want her to pay child support and all that stuff that usually other girls, they want their boyfriends to pay for the baby. But I don't need money from you because we can work our way around that with Damona helping. So that's why I'm like,
We can work our way around that with Damona helping because we can just steal everything. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we'll just work our way around that. Now you do realize that she's 21, 22 years old saying all this. She's very aware of right from wrong. Very aware. She knows exactly what she's doing. Yes, this shit makes me so angry.
Expect you to pay a dime. But,
really?
We'll keep that between us. Okay, anyway, I'm going to end this video now. Okay, I love, adore, and worship you, my darling king.
Can you believe that?
Darling. just wanted to let you know I started my breast actives today. Yesterday. Sorry.
Weird.
So I've taken my first dose yesterday, and
this is weird.
I put everything in here, so it's all labeled. But I've also put
it bigger.
Each of my medications are not really medications, but vitamins that I'm going to be taking.
Medication
are in here. So I've got some prenatal vitamins in here.
Let me skip past that because I don't really like that part. Okay, here we go. Let's get past that part.
In here. I'm making you this video in response to your video, and so there was a few things that you wanted me to answer, so I'm going to try and remember them as best as I can.
Look at her face. Look at her face. She clearly is not a 12 or 13-year-old girl. Think about this. June, she murdered her mother in June. December, she was at Disneyland. She was at Disney World. These royal mashed potatoes. Remember that?
Yeah. So here I go. For your first video, I want you to know that whenever, sorry, I have to catch my breath. For the first video, what I told you on Friday, I had just had a very depressing and emotionally draining talk with my mother. And
listen to this carefully, because this is it right here.
Basically, I've just been giving her these, hypothetical, not real scenarios of me dating, and it all stemmed from something I told her. I said that I was capable of being in a relationship, and then I had to backtrack and tell her that what I meant to say was I'm capable of telling her if I like somebody, instead of hiding it or lying to her about it like I used to. And so whenever I like someone, I'll be honest with her and just tell her. Now, of course, I'm still under that 21-year age ban from dating.
Lie. Right there is a lie. She was not under 21 years old. Lie. Unbelievable. Okay, so this is her actual chromosomal deletion. She actually has 1q21.1 microdeletion. Well, what exactly is that? Well, let's talk about that for a second. So, let's see. It is a chromosome change in which a small piece of the chromosome 1 is deleted in each cell according to MediPlus. The deletion occurs along the Q arm of the chromosome in regions designed Q21.1. This chromosomal change increases the risk of delayed development, intellectual disability, physical abnormalities, which you can clearly see she has physical abnormalities. Because her eyes, her teeth, she's got some physical things that you can clearly see are different. Her head is a lot smaller than a normal, head at that age. So, and also neurological and psychiatric problems. Hello, psychopath. There you are. So according to MediPlus, approximately 75% of all children with 1q21.1 have delayed development that often affects the development of motor skills such as sitting, standing, and walking. So she very well could have had very weak muscles and at times felt like she couldn't walk long distances, and that might have been how she was kind of in the wheelchair sometimes. But she was not confined to that wheelchair, and she knew she could walk. The intellectual disability and learning problems associated with this genetic change are usually mild. So see, she was very capable of learning. Gypsy was diagnosed with this in 2012. So, and then, of course, she put this in her book. But so in 2012, she gets diagnosed. Well, she was born, I believe, when was she born? In 1999? I believe that's what I have. Let me make sure I've got that correct. Let's see. Let me see her date, her birth date. Hang on, guys. I have this written down on a piece of paper somewhere, but it's not up here. I moved my little desk and all that to a different part of the house. I got a whole room all to myself now. My little room. Okay. So, her birthday was July 27th, 1991. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, 1991. So in 2012, she's diagnosed with this chromosome deletion. And I'm sure she did have all kinds of delayed developments, etc. Let's keep watching.
And, but then she says that it doesn't matter if I'm 18 or if I'm 50, if I'm not mature enough to handle, quote unquote, handle the emotional and mental games that guys tend to play. If I'm mature enough, then yeah, I can have a boyfriend, or that's my choice, is what she said. And I'm like, well, I don't want a boyfriend now. I mean, there's nobody I like here in town, and if there was somebody I'd like, I am capable of telling you I like this person, but there's nobody here I like, so I don't need a boyfriend right now. And
this to Nick, right?
So that was a big fight that lasted like 4 days between us, and I just had to talk her into forgiving me and letting her know that no, I'm gonna listen to her her rule, and you know, and things got better after I said that, and I was just trying to let you know that she, as much as I wanted her to maybe help us out with things like a living situation in the future, I don't think she will. And that was kind of depressing for me, because it's realizing that we have to do all this on our own, and you and I both don't make much money, and like the money that I'm getting right now for us for your trip, that is based on allowance. That's based on, you know, checking under the couch for change, and I know you don't make much on your check, and so I mean, what I want to do is save enough so we could at least have us a nest egg of something we can fall back on. Like, we need a car, we need a house,
She knew her mother had that nest egg. She knew how much money was in that house. So she's telling Nick all of these things, and it's based on what she already knows is in this house. And she's sitting here saying, oh, well, my mom's not going to help us. Uh-oh, that's a big red flag, because she's always been given everything. She knew 100% that Nick was not capable of keeping a job and making the kind of money that would support the two of them. She knew that 100%. She knew it. Her mother knew it. Her mother met Nick. Her mother knew they sat at the movie theater together. Her mother did not sit with them. Her mother took the picture of those two together at the movie theater. See, there's all these little parts of this story that she does not tell us about, but she thinks we're too stupid that we're not going to figure it out. But her mother also realized right then and there, when Nick was in town and she met Nick, she realized that Nick was disabled, or was, she realized Nick had an issue. She realized right then and there, okay, listen, this guy's not 100%. And he wasn't, you know. So right then, she knew that this man could never take care of Gypsy. And that is why she was trying to talk her out of seeing him. But anyway, here we go.
Money, and money doesn't grow on trees. Technically, maybe it does because it's cotton, but anyway. We don't have a lot. And we need to start saving now if we're going to have to do this alone without anyone's help. We're going to need money. And, but I know that if we work together, we can get that money.
That's her recording.
As long as we work as a team, we can make it. And I'm hopeful that we can make it. We have the love, but we just need that stability. Now moving on to basically why I said what I said. I said what I said because I was depressed. I didn't mean it. I was feeling
when you can handle the games that men play, you can start dating. What she should have said is when you can date a man without playing games with him, you can start dating. Because all she's done is play a game with Nick the entire time. Here's the thing, we know that they had one bus ticket. We know she had no intention of going back to Wisconsin with him. None. That's why they had one bus ticket. She had in her mind, listen, she had in her mind they were going to do all this, and Nick was going to go off to Wisconsin, and then she was going to get the other guy that she had a relationship with that was much older than her. He was in his 30s.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan. Dan was just going to move into that little habitat of the house, that habitat house, and they were just going to live their life together. That is what was in her damn mind. That is how demented and ridiculous that she was. I mean, and I really do believe, now, all joking aside, I really do believe that that is part of that delayed development and unable to think straight because of her deletion, her microdeletion. I do believe that. I don't know. What do you think, Sprinkle? Sprinkle, are you there?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
100%. She thought she had a very distorted sense of reality, and I think that had something to do with a mental illness.
I think she still has a distorted.
Very delayed.
Yeah.
She thought like a child, even though she was older. She did think like a child.
Right. Both her and Nick. You've got both of them with some serious mental conditions, some serious physical conditions, planning some future based on some distorted fantasy. But the sad part is that Nick believed 100% of everything she said. Nick had no idea that he was being lied to by her until it was time to go to court and he's being thrown under the bus by her. That is the reality check for him, sadly. I'm still checking the court systems to see if anything's been determined because we're still awaiting. There's a three-panel court decision that's going to be made by 3 judges, and it's supposed to come out either January or February of this year. Their decision is supposed to come out about resentencing him. It has not happened yet. Listen, if they can go back and try to resentence the Melendez brothers, who went outside and reloaded and went back in, why can't they go ahead and resentence these guys? Because they had existed all appeals too. They had exhausted all of their appeals as well. So why can't we have the same opportunity for Nick over here? I don't want Nick released out into the public, because he's very dangerous as well. But I do think that Nick should be in a mental facility. I wish that I really do wish that Medicaid or somebody would go after her for fraud. There is no statute of limitations when you defraud the government out of money. They can come after you at any time. Why don't they? She knew her real age. She lied to the cops, said that I'm 19. She knew she wasn't 19. She knew that. She's admitted that. Why does nobody come back after her? I don't understand that. I mean, okay, I can see Make-A-Wish not doing it. I can see Disney not. I can see all that. But the federal government not going after her federally for committing fraud? What in the hell?
There maybe there's statute of limitations on it. Murder is the only thing that has no statute of limitations, but there could have been definite statute of limitations on the other.
For Medicaid fraud? She's receiving Medicaid.
Yeah, who knows? It'd be interesting.
I'm going to look and see. Right now we're looking. Medicaid fraud. Is there a statute of limitations? Let's see. Let's look and see right quick. Let's see. Allow. Federal Medicaid fraud cases generally 6-year statute of limitations for civil false claims acts. 5-year period for criminal prosecution, and civil actions may extend up to 3 years after the government discovers. After the government discovers. So they would have discovered this, and they could have actually filed. After they discover. So it's 6 years plus an additional 3 after they've discovered it. That's 9 years. They absolutely could have, but I don't know if so typically, here's what it says. If fraud was not immediately discovered, the timeline may extend, but the absolute maximum is typically 10 years. Okay, so I think we've gotten to that 10-year point, sadly, and there's nothing that they can do now, which is sad, because they had every opportunity to take care of this before the 10-year period is exhausted, and that's really a shame. It's really a shame. You know, it makes me sick that now she's going to walk and nobody can do anything. Here she is, it's over. It's over. The only thing that we can do is can keep the truth train going, and I intend on keeping the truth train going when it comes to her, to get her off of social media. She should never, just like Nick, she should never be on social media, because the one thing that happens in situations like this is children who are very unhappy, they have very dysfunctional families, there's a lot of things going on in them, they see her, and they see her with 9 million people following on TikTok. Plus she has another channel on TikTok because she's over here and she pulled a fast one on TikTok. She gave that to Bree, went out and made another one saying that she had been hacked or whatever, and then she took it back from Bree. Bree has finally realized that she was used. Let me show you what now Bree has came up with. And I'm so glad she's opened her eyes. What a dumbass, you know? I hope it's real. So let's go out and find this right now. Let's see. Bree opens her eyes. We'll call it that. Bree. Okay. Who do you think put the drugs in her car? What do you think, guys? You think it was Gypsy Rose Blanchard? I think she had something to do with it. Let's see if we can pull it up this way. Let's see. Okay. This is a month ago. This was pretty recent when this came. I thought I saw this today somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. Listen to this, guys. I want to be right so bad, Bree.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until after our parole passes. Like, we go on a Paul T, and then we're going to put it all over TikTok.
Yep.
I'm going to be like, Gypsy decided, we talked last night after her parole was over, and she decided that she wants to continue to use me for the rest of her life, actually.
Wow, and you're allowing it?
She said I've done a really good job.
Is that funny? It's not funny at all. What's wrong with you, Bree?
Well, me and Danny are going down to NOLA for our birthdays after Gypsy's off parole. So,
well, good luck. You might waste your money.
Bree's involved in that too. So,
no,
I guess she's going to use you for one last hurrah, Bree.
No, Gypsy doesn't want any friends at all, so she's going to dump. And when she gets off parole, she's going to be like, finally, I don't have to have any friends. Bye. I don't want to see any of y'all again.
We're going to get down there and she's going to break up with all of us.
The thing is how often do I even like make videos like I'm talking about Gypsy, about her abuse or her case? Like what could she possibly be using me for anymore? Like what is she using me for now? Like poor Gypsy, she's probably like, what is she good for nothing?
Let's see, this was back in, when was this? I think this was back in, she's been known that she's been used.
This was before they became friends,
months.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, she's always known she's been used. I don't understand. Why the hell are you still involved with her? What did you think you were going to gain? Let me see if I can find anything about this today. Gypsy Rose secret account. Let's see. Let's listen to Becca Scoops for just a minute. Hang on. I didn't catch this
sorry.
one.
I apologize.
Oh, here we
All
go.
right, so that's the little thing that's going on with her, right?
All right.
To a certain extent. But Gypsy calls herself a planner, but what that really is she meticulously
full credit Becca Scoops
goes through like gaming out situations with people and how to manipulate them, right? It's like she will do things to know how they're going to already react to it. So she games all this out, and she does that for manipulation tactics. All right. Now she's going to give up all of her control. She's just going to give it up and give it over to God. Is that the message? Right. Is that like the earth shaking message that only she can give the world? Who does she think she is?
Amen.
The way that we would want it to be. And what I have come to understand is that
God is going to do things in His timing, not ours. And it takes patience and
Riveting information. I'm sure no one's ever heard this information from anyone before.
I love it when
faith
Becky
to know
rolls her
that
eyes.
He has a bigger plan than what we have for ourselves. So often in our life, I think we try to fit things to make it happen.
No, you act. That's you.
Actually, she did. She actually did fit things to make it happen. She took her mother's life so she could get the hell out of there and thought she was just going to walk free from it and that Nick was going to go to jail for the rest of his life. And oh well, she's free. She's done. Okay, here we go. God almighty.
That is solely you, okay? But you take it like so many steps further, right? That you leave in the wake dead people in your wake, you know, and at the very least, totally devastated people in your wake. So this is just this new Christian era. Notice the outfit, another soothing beigey color that we're wearing today with the wig.
Her wig.
Right?
Yeah. Her $2,500
Is this
wig.
the podcast? Is this it? Like deep
The look of the
Christian thoughts
Amish.
from Gypsy Blanchard? Is that what we're getting?
Yeah. I guess she thinks that this little outfit and that you know kind of just blank or just like makes her look like she's just
Gives me Amish
angelic.
vibes. It
Yeah,
gives me very,
well, I wouldn't
very
do anything
Amish
wrong.
vibes.
Yeah, look at me. I'm just a Christian.
Yeah, I wear beige. I wear beige.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if she only wore white and beige from now on.
Right?
Jesus,
Right?
help her.
Notice it's over on Instagram. She's really going to try to make her final stand in social media over there. But we got the truth train coming over to Instagram. So you go ahead.
We push and we push and we push and we strive to make something happen in our life that may not be the best thing for us at that time or at all.
Oh, really?
Like murdering your mom?
Like Ken? Like getting Ken back into your life? You made sure that happened and then you trapped him by getting pregnant immediately because that has always been your plan.
Getting pregnant when you have no business being pregnant?
Yeah, that's right. Because she has to trap somebody to stay in her life. That's all that is. You know, what if Ken was ever going to marry her, he
I
would have
mean,
already
you
done
know,
it.
obviously it didn't work for her mom. What?
Yeah.
Why
exactly.
she thought it was going to work for her?
I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
And that's something that, you know, we are taking our own lives and trying to make our own path and say, no, this is how our life needs to be. And really, it's not really up to us. And that's something for us as a humanity to sort of let go and put it in His hands and say, you know what?
Is she like a...
I just wish I could put this in Grok to see if they wrote it. If this is Grok's material, because I don't believe she could write this by herself. I don't think that she has the mind, the technical writing abilities to write such a speech. I just don't think she does.
Philosopher now? Is she like someone that's lived decades and decades and decades is now departing her wisdom to the world?
Actually, maybe she has, because you got to remember, now Victor, her master over there, was an old vampire who had lived many, many years and many lives. So maybe this is her reincarnation as something else. Jesus. God help her.
No, sweetie. No. We don't need to hear any of this from you. These are this whatever you're divulging here is just ridiculous. People have heard some version of this from different people throughout your whole life. It's not groundbreaking, and it's not something we need to hear from you at all. You have no credibility.
Thank you.
Accept your fate. Accept your fate.
Get off the social
Close
media.
down this bullshit and get on with your life. Okay? But I don't speak for everyone on the internet, obviously, but I do feel there's a majority of people who are looking at you doing this and thinking it's so fake. Here we go again with another rebranding, repackaging. This is the beige Christian era. And you know what? It's not authentic at all.
Get a job.
Hi, this is bigger than me. I feel like your plan is...
The thing is, see, she doesn't want to get a job. Here's the deal. She knows with her felony past that the only place that she's going to get a job is some kind of fast food or something like that. Nobody's going to want to hire her. They've seen her as Demona stealing. Okay, now with all these FOIAs out there, they've seen that she took her mother's life and felt nothing. They know she's a psychopath, and they know that she is not trustworthy because she uses everybody and everything that she can to advance herself to whatever she thinks is best for her next. Nobody's going to hire her unless maybe it's fast food and she thinks she's above that. You know, because she's lived this lavish lifestyle. She never lived in the real world because everything was given to her. She comes out of jail and everything's still given to her. Help me make that make sense, please. It's disgusting.
Is more than what I could have ever hoped it would be. Things might be a little rough right now in that season of your life if you're going through a hardship right now. And
look, that wig doesn't even fit right. Look at it.
She's ridiculous.
And it is just something that, you know, maybe your family, maybe your friends, maybe your loved one, your partner, whoever is just sort of not measuring up right now. And you,
you mean like
are
me?
at your bottom.
Your loved one isn't measuring up right now. Are we talking about Ken? Is Ken not measuring up now and you are at your bottom? You know, she does send out these little nuggets, you know, to talk. We've seen her use the internet to talk to Ken before. She's definitely used it to talk to Ryan.
At your bottom. And you feel like everyone's letting you down.
Hang on,
And
guys. Let's get off of this because this makes me sick. I'm looking at this going, that's right, Becca. Who does she think she is? Who does she think she is? What is this one? Let's see. What else? Is there anything? Let's see if there's anything that came out today that's any different that we haven't seen. I did see this thing I saw today was on TikTok, and it was Bree, and she was very mad because she's realized that she's still being used by Gypsy for something. She can't quite figure it out, but she's just done. And she's very upset because Gypsy's not standing behind her. Gypsy's not going to help her. And I'm thinking to myself, honey, Gypsy is the reason why you got arrested, you stupid ass. Let's see. Oh, this was taken down. Hang on a minute. Let's see what it was.
There was absolutely a fear on Dee Dee's part that she was starting to lose control. And also really fear.
You know, better not get caught.
knew it was a facade.
If I'm not able to be in jail, I have a lot of medical needs.
Muscular dystrophy and seizures.
Did you always know you could walk if you wanted to?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you did get out of your wheelchair and walk while she was asleep?
There would be times. Every once in a while, I would move my legs here and there, so it was like I was forced to be in the chair.
Because she does think that she's able to get away with it without her mom realizing what's going on.
My mother never let me outside. There was never a moment during the day when Mama would ever say, let's get outside and get some sun on our face. Never.
Do you want to go play outside? I'm kidding myself. I look at myself trapped and desperate.
Knew it was a facade.
See you around, Puddin'.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. As you all know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's case has been pretty much exposed to the public after Into the Weeds put in a FOIA request and got thousands and thousands and thousands of records.
Let me see if we can see where it starts. Where she's. All right, here we go. No, not that part. Hang on. Let's get this over here.
Not those case files are released to the public, I'm not sure, but there is a paper trail.
So did that come up in court, like in trial?
It did. It was discussed.
So people could find that if they wanted to.
The prosecutor definitely did.
This was the first time I had read that, so I don't know if there's a little bit of attention on it, in the media, but I was shocked. I couldn't even.
Not a lot of people know about that stuff because what is in a confidential case file, because he is still going through his appeal, so there is a portion of case files that are not out to the public.
Okay.
So that's why I think a lot of people are just like, okay, it's one-sided. And then, in my opinion, whether it was conscious or not, I feel like maybe we manipulated each other.
Absolutely.
It was
The actual truth of the situation is that Gypsy was not medically child abused. I mean, yeah, she was a strict mom, but that does not, bear the equivalent of murdering her. There's nothing in these files where Gypsy even discusses how, tortured or tormented she is. And she's posting a lot of stuff online. Like, seriously, stuff that nobody else in their right mind would post. Inappropriate photos, all this stuff for the world to see, yet she's not talking about any abuse or talking about her mom in any way, yet she murdered her. Something else that I also want to point out that we've kind of at least I've come to realize in this, is that all of those excess medical supplies that Dee Dee was getting in that house were not to torture Gypsy with, like medically. No, none of that was actually happening. What Dee Dee was doing was selling all of those extra supplies online on eBay for extra money.
Yeah.
She wasn't using all of it on Gypsy, and that's why they didn't have a lot of the extra supplies around. It's because Dee Dee was selling it to get money online. I think that's a big part of it. They always like to comment on all the extra stuff and all the medical equipment or whatever. They were getting a lot of that for free, obviously, because they were on Medicaid, so they got free insurance, and with that comes free supplies. So therefore, she's turning around and she's making a profit. Well, still bad, very different than torturing Gypsy medically and having all of this stuff because she thought Gypsy was so sick. No, she's selling all of that off. And if you go through the records, Dee Dee's records and the file for eBay, there are so many sales, and a lot of it is like diabetic strips, you know, all of these extra medical supplies that they really didn't need because they were getting money for it as a way to kind of help them out, contribute to the...
Then how is she making Gypsy sick? See, I mean, look, you can qualify for all this stuff and get all this stuff, but not actually use it. I mean, and that's what's happening here because she's selling it on eBay. So she doesn't have Munchausen. I'm so sick of hearing that. And I think that this needs to be corrected. Don't y'all think? It needs to be corrected that she never had Munchausen. She was never diagnosed with it, and you cannot diagnose a dead person with anything. I think all of this needs to be fixed. It is disgusting. Now, and Gypsy Rose Blanchard will never take the right steps. Even in her new Christian role that she's trying to pretend and play in, she will never take the right steps, and she will never do the right thing by her mother. She can't, because if she ever admits the truth, then people will walk away from her. Here we go.
The Disney vacations that Gypsy was going on.
My
Again,
God.
another, I guess, con or another grift, but very different than medical abuse. As you can see here on this part, it says the items being sold on eBay included diabetic test strips, Kimberly-Clark Mickey extension set feeding tubes. So again, that's why Gypsy wasn't even getting a lot of that stuff done. Dee Dee didn't care about that feeding tube. She was selling all that stuff online. Gypsy wasn't getting taken care of even the way that she should have been. They weren't changing that feeding tube out as much as they could have. You know, they were actually honestly behind on it. And again, that totally diverts from the whole Munchausen by proxy narrative that we've been given. Munchausen by proxy mama over here is not going to be selling all that equipment on eBay. She's going to be putting it on Gypsy. She's going to be making her go through all this crap over and over and over again just because that's what they do. They like to, push it to the limits as far as all these procedures and things. That's what they live for. So they're not going to be selling it on eBay like Dee Dee was to make a quick buck. That's why we don't see a lot of the excess medical supplies for Gypsy. I wouldn't even be surprised if Dee Dee was selling some of the meds online, like maybe not the controlled substances, but all the extra crap that she got for Gypsy, she probably was selling it.
She was using that.
Like, I honestly think that this is a huge piece of information, and it totally contradicts the whole Munchausen by proxy narrative. 100%. There is no way that Dee Dee would be doing this. There is no way that she would be selling Gypsy's medical supplies and equipment online if she was somebody that was truly suffering with Munchausen by proxy. She would be using every single bit of that, not selling it online to make a quick buck. So again, we're putting this whole focus on this was a con. Gypsy was aware of the con because later on she talks about how she knew about her mom's eBay account. She knew what they were selling. She would talk to her mom or lie to her mom about trying to buy stuff on eBay at one point in time where she got caught, sending inappropriate things in the email. All of this stuff that Gypsy was aware of, again, pointing to the fact that Gypsy was in on this con. Something else that I found a little bit interesting is that, on this shared profile between Gypsy and Nick, Gypsy is uploading all of these like personal photos, of her grandmother, Emma, and her mom, and, Dee Dee and Rod's wedding photos. She's uploading all of these onto this shared profile with the guy that's going to kill her mother, which I find bizarre. Again, like, if you're somebody that's so abused and tortured and whatever, she's posting all of these, like, photos that she has access to. It just doesn't really scream somebody that's being chronically abused.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, here's Gypsy being tortured in some medical contraption. I've never seen this before.
Look at I never saw that one. Look
it's
at
absolutely like disturbing, this type of abuse.
Oh, I gotta make it bigger. Sorry.
I can't even imagine.
Look, she's having fun. How old? I mean, that she
Who
really
knows what
was
these
young
things
in that
were
picture.
for.
Okay, that picture, she really was young. You can tell she was young by looking at her face, right? She was young. But no. How are you being tortured if all the supplies are being sold and not used? Hello, thank you, God Almighty.
Jeez. Like, do you see this? This is bad. Gypsy was right. These Facebook posts and messages change everything. I mean, just look at this. I mean, like, how can you defend this behavior? Oh, you can't even.
I agree with Morgan on
And look,
that.
we've got another one Gypsy posted. She's, again, being tortured on some strange medical device. I don't really understand how her evil mother could do such a thing. Look at her. She's screaming in terror.
And having fun. Look
absolutely horrified. It was probably so, like, torturous, they don't even use these things anymore. I'm literally shaking right now.
Yeah. Scary, isn't it?
So then we've got Gypsy uploading all of her photos that she's got with her, like, little teddy bear. Obviously, this is her inner kitty.
Now look, wait a minute.
Which,
look how old she is. Look how old she is right here. Look how old she is in this picture right here, because you saw her making a video for for Nick, and I believe she was showing baby clothes and things that Damona got for them for free. Remember? God.
Bonds. Yes, this is Nick's sub side. You look so adorable with your teddy bear or with your teddy in your hands, which again, Nick's sub side showing that he wasn't always the dominant, always this. They were switching back and forth. But Gypsy never likes to mention that.
No, she doesn't.
Gypsy never likes to mention the fact that she was Nick's dom.
Yeah, she talked
because
about
that doesn't really fit the narrative, does it? That doesn't really fit the whole, like, oh, I never had any opportunities or whatever. And, like, you know, like, I was reading through all of their messages and stuff, and it's so confusing. I don't even know how they knew who they were talking to, because they had so many different Facebook profiles for all of their different personalities, and then they would switch mid-sentence, like, okay, this is this person, and it's, like, actually crazy. I could not even, like, follow.
Okay, so we were able to go to Into the Weeds and pull up all of these FOIA things and look at all this stuff. But the way it's laid out, it's really hard to decipher and read. She's right about that, because she's right about that. It would be switched off in the middle. I mean, it's always Nick and Gypsy talking to each other, but they're talking to each other as Victor and Damona. They're talking to each other as Ruby and somebody else. I mean, it's just all this, it's back and forth, back and forth. It's really hard. I don't know how they kept up with it themselves, unless, I don't know. It's just hard to decipher the whole thing. I was so shocked it's shocking. All of it is shocking. Here, let's go.
Along. I don't know how they were doing it. But again,
I don't usually go this long with a live, but I'm not going to cut this off right now, because I feel like we need to talk a little bit longer about the grift.
Nick has this submissive side, so it's not always the dominant person, like Gypsy wanted to make it out to be. Which I found, again, weird, because this is a Facebook profile that people are friends with them. Nick's family and his friends and people that they actually know. This isn't a private Facebook profile. They did have another one, but she's uploading these photos that are not appropriate at all. And then she's uploading it into an album titled Master's Little Baby Dolls, Gypsy, Rose, Ruby, Kitty, and Candy. Like, who would do that? Who would post photos?
Master's Little Baby Dolls. Master's Little Baby Dolls. Now, that is her. That is all Gypsy making that shit up and putting it in there. So who's the sicko? Is it Nick or is it Gypsy? It's Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Here we go.
It's like this online. That's really bizarre. And even more bizarre behavior from Gypsy after the murder, clearly, when she's messaging with Nick's friend Allie, she's being, like, inappropriate and revealing so much information to this girl, and it's very uncomfortable. And you know, pretty much telling Allie that they're going to have sex at the hotel, wink, wink, and they're not getting sleep tonight, all of this stuff. And it's like, what? First of all, why are you telling her all that? Why are you making it weird? Like, what is going on here? Allie says, hey, are you with Nick right now? Soon we'll meet up. I'm going to his hotel, wink, wink. What's going to happen when your mom finds out? But Allie was already kind of aware that maybe Nick would have to murder the mom. So I think she's kind of just throwing this out.
That's true. Nick had talked to Allie about the fact that Gypsy wanted him to take her mother's life. And Allie is telling Nick, don't do that. You know, she's trying to tell him, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. You know, she's trying to. So it is true. Now, Gypsy's over here talking with this Allie after this, you know, about going to the hotel and all that. And so she throws in there about her mother. Now, let's see what she answers. Because Allie knows that Nick was probably. Here's the one thing I want to say about this. Allie knew all about this. Allie should have contacted somebody. Allie should have made somebody aware that there was a plan for this somewhere. I don't know why she didn't, unless maybe she thought they would not go through with it. I don't know. Here we go.
To see if it did happen. And, you know, Gypsy says she kicked me out. That's why he's here to escort me back to Wisconsin.
Lie, lie, lie.
You know, all of this stuff is really weird. Weird behavior. So let's go ahead and take a look back into some more of the searches that Gypsy was doing. One of which that I think is very, very important is Gypsy searching herself up on the news so she could see what people were saying. And I think she was pretty much like enjoying that people were talking about her, that this was a trending situation. You know, all of these searches here, she's looking up the news almost every day just about after the murder, after she made that Facebook post, even before, honestly. Here it is, 7:41 in the morning. She's searching, body of missing woman found, daughter still missing. She was getting joy from all of this stuff going on. Like, that's what I've always felt. That's the real reason why she posted those Facebook statuses. She knew that people were going to be worried about her. The whole, like, I was taking pictures down so people would forget about me. I don't buy any of that. I think she was honestly enjoying every second. I think she enjoyed posting that Facebook status and watching people freak out and worry and wonder where's Gypsy, so she could be the center of attention like she always is, but on a new level. except she thought she was going to get away with it and nobody would ever think that she was involved in the murder. She liked being the victim, you know, like I think she really thought she would come out of it like a survivor, like how she is now. She wanted that survivor label, you know, victim, survivor, all of that. That's something that Gypsy had, you know, intended on the entire time. And it's very disturbing now that she's got it and she still gets to go by that, by something that's completely fabricated.
You know what's wild about all that? That Nick thought he was going to be able to use some of this too as like, well, I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was talked into it. Oh, my mental, you know, he also wanted to use some kind of weird, he thought he was going to walk out of it too. They had convinced themselves that because of his autism and her sicknesses, that they were all both going to walk away from it. They did. They never thought they would actually go to prison.
And entirely made up. And again, like I've pointed out multiple times that Gypsy being able to log into Dee Dee and Gypsy's, or that DGyp Facebook page, shows that she was able to intercept messages, which she even admits it in a video that she was able to intercept a message before her mother was able to see it. So whenever I've brought up in the past messages from Dee Dee to Christy about the whole, like, why did you talk crap about Rod, all of that, I've said a million times that I believe that was Gypsy. Like, that was one of the very first videos about this whole case that I ever posted. And again, that just proves it. You know, Gypsy's friend Bree went off on me saying I was ridiculous. You know, Dee Dee kept it. Dee Dee typed in all caps, like Gypsy couldn't hit the caps lock button. But, you know, Gypsy was intercepting messages. She would get in there and delete messages before her mom could ever see them, especially the ones that got filtered. I thought this was funny. It's Gypsy's talking about needing to delete the account due to her mother finding out after Dan's mother messaging Gypsy's mother about the photos that Gypsy had been posting online. Why?
Did you hear that? Dan's mother messaged Dee Dee about the pictures that Gypsy was posting online. Dan was 36 years old. I think he was 36 years old. Dan had he never wanted to have a full-on relationship with Gypsy. That is not true. Gypsy took herself over there like she was going to move in. And the reason why her mother showed up is because the people that were living there contacted her, said, you got to come get this kid, what's going on here, blah, blah. But so here she is sending inappropriate pictures all over the damn place, and a 36-year-old man's mother is contacting Dee Dee to let her know. That is wild. Wild.
Dan's mom would be messaging Dee Dee. I don't really know. Maybe they were friends. Who knows? But Gypsy says Dan's mom even messaged Gypsy's mom. Lucky Gyp checked mom's spam Facebook messages. I deleted it, but we need to crack down fast. Okay, like I said, I'll delete that profile. You leave that to me. Okay, scrub this away, master. Permanently delete this account, please, sir. So it was actually Dan's mom that was reaching out to Dee Dee, and Gypsy intercepted that message. Like I've said, that I knew Gypsy was able to do because she had that password. I've said that for like a year now.
Mm-hmm.
When I posted that, that those messages to Christy were from Gypsy, like I've always felt that. She was always intercepting messages in Dee Dee's account. She was always taking care of that. She was, able to do a lot more than people would give her credit for because she was so sneaky and she had a lot of time to be sneaky. And her mom was, somebody that would just kind of be like, all right, whatever. And even the way in this, where Gypsy is switching back and forth between, the DGyp Facebook profile to the Nicholas Bella Facebook page to continually check and see what's going on the news, to check and see like the updates on the case. And, even when she planned to deactivate her Facebook entirely on the 14th, she just couldn't help it. She had to stay in that Facebook page so she could literally watch and see what people were saying about her. She couldn't dare to deactivate it because she was getting too much enjoyment from seeing people.
She can't get off of social media. See, she's so addicted to social media. She's so addicted to, let me tell y'all, you've heard me say this many, many times, main character syndrome. Now, because she's always been the main character in her mother's life, in Nick's life, in her life, always. Here we go.
Freak out that she was missing. And she's smart and she knows what she's doing because she was actively, managing her sessions when she was logged in. She was making sure that nobody was able to see her online. She was, deleting photo albums. I know Audrey kind of spoke about that already. She was deleting stuff in this, photo album of VisionCon. What was in that album? Who knows? It's got to be something that would be worth the time.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't she go to Dan's hotel room at VisionCon? Don't I remember that? Don't I remember something about she going to Dan's hotel room at VisionCon and her mother had to go get her? Yeah.
And something interesting is how Gypsy Googles here how to make a pizza adult film Which is funny because in one of the documentaries that Gypsy is in, she talks about how this was Nick's idea, this whole situation, that Nick had thought of this hilarious idea that he wanted to make this film. And that's the one that we see where she's talking about the brownie and they're in the bed. But what doesn't make sense to me is in that moment when she's talking about it in the documentary, she says he had this idea, but yet she's talking and making it. And then he says, turn off the camera. And he makes her turn off the camera. So
he asked her to turn the camera off because he was crying. Look, Nick didn't really want to do this. I think deep down, Nick really does have remorse. Nick really does have some empathy. Nick really does have some feelings. Nick is really like, still today, he's really like a 15-year-old child. It's like he's stuck in that 15-year-old child mentality. And you can tell when he talks still today, you can tell that. So I think that is why he asked her to turn it off, because he was still very upset. She didn't give a shit, but he was upset.
if it was Nick's idea and he wanted to do it, why would he make her turn off the camera?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense. And I've always wondered about that, but knowing that it's Gypsy being the one that actually looked it up, of course it makes sense. Gypsy went back and forth between, wanting to deactivate Facebook entirely. Multiple times she was going about it. I don't know if she still does the same thing to this day, right? She does it on TikTok all the time, deactivating, saying she's getting off, but then she can't help it and she comes right back. So here on 6/11, just a few days after the murder, she wanted to deactivate it. Looking up the local news again, trying to figure out if anybody's talking about her. This is again just like the next day following the murder, since it technically occurred on the 10th. Gypsy is searching up the USPS to be able to mail the knife to the home of Nicholas Godejohn. And
I felt so sorry for Nick's mother when she realized that that weapon had been mailed back to her home and was up there in Nick's bedroom just hanging out in the closet. The same butcher knife, basically serrated. Horrible. It was like a fish cutting. It was a fishing knife. It's a fishing knife, really, is what it was. It's very, very sharp. She was horrified when she saw that. It makes me so sick that she also is gone because of what Gypsy Rose Blanchard did to her son. It's just I'm gonna say we're gonna end this soon because I really need to, because they're gonna be home from the hockey game soon and my dog's gonna be barking and all that. But listen, I think that deep down, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a very lonely soul inside her body, because she knows everybody around her knows the truth. And she knows that everybody around her does not trust her. And she knows she has no real friends, because everybody that she gets involved with is involved with her because of her crime and what they can get out of it. That's what I believe. As far as, do I feel sorry for her? No. But I believe that she lives a very, in her inner self, in her own, inside herself, that she's a very lonely person. She cannot talk to her mother. She can't talk to, she's just there. She's just kind of, her life is, every day of her life is some kind of cover up for something else. I just think she's a very lonely person on the inside. She can't, there's no way to get around it. Like she's stuck like that forever. Anyway, we're going to get off of here now. I need to get off because they're going to be coming home from the hockey game and the dog's going to be barking and I don't want to go through all of that. And we'll come back live again tomorrow probably. But tomorrow I want to talk about something, not Gypsy. We'll talk about something else. But it's just sad to know now that that there's statute of limitations, that nobody's going to go back and file fraud charges against her. So no matter what we do to try to get her off of social media, nobody is going to file against her for the fraud. No corporate fraud, no federal fraud, nobody, because all the statute of limitations have now ran out. Anyway, you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming in. As I always say, take care of yourself. Be careful out there. And Sprinkles, you can take us out with my other favorite words.
And hug your babies.
You're damn right, because life is short, and it's even shorter with them. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming in.